Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone. How you doing? Welcome to the Huddle with Israel Doctrine. I'm your host, Carl Lambert, and you have now entered into the Huddle. And today we're talking about how servants of God deal concerning sexual behavior. This is part 2. We had a pretty good show yesterday, even though it was wide open. We're going to try to narrow it down today and most definitely emphasize on the servants of God and the laws of God dealing with sexual behavior. From the physical to the mental. Because as I stated yesterday, we have fornication, adultery, homosexuality, incest, and things of this nature going on. Bestiality. We have these things going on in our society, and we need to have a forum like this where we can talk about them and get some things out on the table and try to relate these things to what's going on or what's written in the Bible and see how we should handle ourselves in dealing with matters like this. Now, we covered a lot of basic topics yesterday for people that might be tuning in today. You know, communication was one of the key components to all that we talked about. And I appreciate the brother for putting that anchor there so we wouldn't float too far off that subject. And I also interjected that communication is nonverbal communication also. So in having a relationship with a person, communication is the number one thing. You have to communicate to people what it is you want and don't want. That's just in relationship in general. Now, when it comes to sexual behavior, then you have to communicate to people what it is you want and don't want to do sexually. Now, as it came up in yesterday's show, we dealt with the fact that, you know, people would like to have animals involved in their sexual activities. We also had the anal conversation come up. We had the oral sex come up. So pretty much the conversation is wide open. We're not going to sugarcoat it. This is for a mature audience. If I didn't put that up, forgive me. I thought all my shows were mature audience. But sexual behavior. So if someone tell you be a male or a female and the same sex asks you for sex, and that's their sexual preference, then that's not how a servant of God get down. That's how they don't indulge in them sexual activities. I would say even anal sex, servants of God wouldn't pretty much participate in that. But you have people that came out of, you know, the adult film industry. You got people that came up out of all kind of stuff, and they didn't participated in these things before, be it bestiality sex, anal sex, bondage, all that stuff. So what is it if they come up out of that lifestyle of making money in videos and selling sex and just take it to their bedroom? As we were speaking yesterday, we said a bedroom is not defiled. So whatever one's sexual preference is, in that sense, if they want to do bondage or they got feet fetishes and this and that, one will have to communicate to their partner that that's what they into or not into, and one would either have to accept it or not. But is it how a servant of God should participate in sexual activity? What is sex for anyway? Is it for pleasure? Is it for us to reproduce? As I stated yesterday, it's pretty much for both, but the main thing I see sex for is reproduction. And from a biblical standpoint, that's pretty much. When Abraham got another wife, it was due to the fact that his first wife couldn't reproduce at the time, so they brought another woman in to have sex with to reproduce. So for the people that like to deal with the multiple wives, polygamy, that's what it's about. So if you're trying to reproduce and stuff, I understand your argument a little bit, but we can't do that in this country because the laws is not geared towards us to do that. So, like I said, to these Israelite brothers get together and go up to Washington and get the laws changed, then polygamy is not legal from a biblical standpoint, because we're supposed to follow the laws of the land and not be seen as evildoers. But we're here to talk about sexual behavior and how a servant of God should behave sexually. What would be some immoral things for one companion to bring to them So we know threesomes immoral. Whether if you have multiple wives or whatever, you're not supposed to share more than one partner at a time. It said the two shall be one. Anything out of two, I see it as being out of line. If one want to justify more than one partner in the bedroom, then you would have to show me some scripture on it. I really ain't got none to show that you can't. But just because I ain't got none to show that you can't, if you ain't got none to show that you can, we're going to have a stalemate. Then we're going to have to reason it out and have put some kind of morals from some standard on the table to deal with it. So on and so forth. But, man, the phone lines is open. If I want to talk, all you got to do is hit 1. We can open the dialogue up and start dealing with some things. We can go biblically, or we could just keep it wide open, and whenever scriptures need to be injected into the conversation, so be it. So, anyone that want to talk, just call on in.
Cool.
Peace. How you doing, sister?
Hey, how you doing?
All right.
Leviticus 18 and 18. Is that literally talking about like a woman and her sister?
Well, we read that one yesterday. Yeah, I mean, it said pretty much don't have two sisters, because that'll make one jealous. You shouldn't have no splitting in the family like that.
Like with Rachel and Leah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was allowed because it was all a trick in the first place. Treachery was in it. And that's the thing, like to deal with the polygamy conversation a little bit. Like I said, people go back and search the scriptures historically. And if you ain't talking, could you mute the mic a little bit? Or I'll mute it because we get a feedback from it. Okay. When we go back to Abraham or whatever, and anyone that's more suitable to deal with this than me, I'm suitable to deal with it, but I'm kind of laid back on shows like this, you know. When you go back to Abraham, Abraham had one wife for the longest. And as I stated, when she couldn't reproduce a seed for him and the Lord promised him an heir, they tried to interject a woman in the picture, another woman in the picture, which the Bible do state that was his wife. But that's how another woman was brought into the picture to supersede that which God had told them but promised them. They figured, well, God can't do it, so we must interject. So, same thing with Rachel and all that. You know, father-in-law played the trick. So, therefore, he wanted who he wanted. So, the father-in-law put his daughters in that position. And so on and so forth. We could do a study by study of each incident. You know what I'm saying? As the Bible said, we shouldn't multiply wives to ourselves and trinkets and different stuff because, you know, it'll take our mind from God. So that's when you get into what Paul was talking about when it's good for this, that, and, you know, a man to have one wife if he gonna be a deacon or bishop or whatever, due to the fact that if he gonna do work for the Lord, he can't take care of all them women, multitask like that. So that's just to speak on that a little bit. But your
and
mic
that's why
back open. Well, your mic back open. It was off. We get an echo from your phone, so.
I'm sorry. Is it still echoing? I have it on speaker. Like the reception where I'm at is like.
I understand you said that before, but the whole thing is when I talk, you get an echo, not when you talk.
Oh, it's fine.
So that's just.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You got it.
No, I was just saying, just like Solomon, that's why he felt like women because he had multiple wives and they turned his heart from God, basically to serve life.
Not even the fact that he had multiple wives, but he had women God told Israel not to deal with.
Right, women of other nations.
And due to the fact that he had women of other nations, he dealt with their gods and their stuff. It was all Israelite women when he had, you know, been turned into that mischief of the folly that he was getting himself into.
Right, there's a lot of women. So, knowing with the age of, like, when a man can be able to deal with a woman, what would the rightful age, which I guess, well, not guess, knowing the fact we have to go according to the law of the land, it's like, what, 18, where you legally grown or whatever. Well, I guess I just answered my own question.
Yeah, you got to deal with the law of the land. If the law of the land say you can't.
Because I know back then they had it to where they didn't have no, I guess, statute. Well, I don't really know of the age of.
The whole thing with that is, like we were saying yesterday, if you young lovers and y'all call yourself elementary sweethearts, then y'all get in, you know, junior high, whatever, and y'all talking and, you know, y'all lay with each other and get a baby or do something like that. You know, the law really can't say nothing or do nothing about that. But if it's any age difference, the male, if he's 2 to 3 or even more years older, it's going to be a problem. Due to the laws, statutes, and, you know, things that we have here in this nation.
Right. Because I know, like, in the certain movies, they had it portrayed to where, like, what they was bringing out yesterday, like, men was able to marry women at 14 and have kids and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's the movies, and that don't matter because that was in that time, and we in this time, and this law on the book said you no statutory rape if you sleep with a young lady or a young man 2 months younger than you, and they not of a legal age. But I mean, like I said, it's dealing more with sexual behavior and sexual conversation because as we put on the table, or as it was put on the table, one have to communicate what it is they into sexually or not. And either the other person is into it or not. And based up on a sexual relationship, one either going to be compatible or incompatible with each other. And what is lawful for the bedroom and what's not lawful for the bedroom. Like I just stated that threesomes is not lawful in my eyesight. And I never just searched the scriptures out to deal with it. But if someone would try to justify it,
but it's being gay, like, because both of the women, because the man if whatever's going on, he's eventually, like, it's already out of order, but he's going to have it to where the spirit on him to watch both of them do whatever. Turn him.
You breaking up now.
Oh. I was saying, knowing, just with man, knowing if it be like he'd have it to where he would want to watch both of the women please each other to get him off.
Yeah, well, that could be part of it. It could not be part of it. I mean, it comes from interjecting what you've seen in a movie or then read in a book or heard somewhere that, that he would make the two women, deal with each other. It may not be the situation, depending on what a male will want to do or fantasize with, and what the females say they are willing to do within the boundaries of a threesome. You will have to communicate what it is you would or wouldn't want to do. And like I said, in the sense of the word, from what you just put forth, you will have a female on female, and that is abomination. Or if you have male on male with a female there, and the two males is even getting involved with each other, that's homosexuality. One would probably say it's not, but that's men being effeminate and females being masculine in the sexual arena.
Right. Because it puzzles me, like, with both, just with it, period, anyway, by being gay. Because you try and have it, well, I ain't finna go on the graphic.
Yeah, well, I mean, it ain't right to anybody that's not into it. So, I mean,
one point in time,
how could you try to understand something like that?
No, one point in time, my mind was there, like, to experience that, but it's like, just thinking on it, or when I thought on it, it's like, it didn't make sense, because it's like, if you bringing in toys or, messing with the person with, hands and stuff like that, it's like, why not just have a dude, because that's what you're doing to bring forth a pleasure versus just,
Well, I don't know nothing about this stuff. My mind never traveled down them paths. But they, just in society, it's a general. I mean, they state that women are more likely than men, but I don't know. I'm not a statistic buff like that, but homosexuality is most definitely up from when I was a youth.
Yeah, it's a lot on at my job.
Well, I'm just saying, it's it's a lot of them all over the place. They in the military now. They just passed You know, you could be open in the military, so they on the police force, they in sports, they everywhere. I mean,
right.
Some of them just haven't came out and spoke it. You know, they ain't said it loud.
Right.
But just due to the fact that in God's eyes that is not a sexual behavior that should be practiced.
Yeah, and it just don't make sense when you really look at it. Because a woman, if she's with a woman, she's portraying to be that man, and you can never give her that total satisfaction because you don't have that part, and you doing the things what a man would do. So it's like, why not have a man? But then it goes back to they feelings and emotions, and that's why some do turn, because a man have hurt them so bad to where they can get that love from a woman.
Well, that's more of an emotional bondage than a sexual, you know.
Right.
I say bond, not bondage, but they're looking for the emotional bond, but then they putting their sexual preferences to the side to be emotionally attached to a person.
Right.
Like I said, you know, I have people in my family that deal with, you know, the same sex. You know, I love them no less, but as I tell anybody, at the end of the day, if I was sleeping with a man, wife, or just sleeping with a woman in general, and we weren't doing it in a proper manner, under a covenant and this and that, and even if it was legal in the eyes of the United States, or just, you know, a pledge we made before God, then it's like I'm out of bounds. Because I believe a person should be with just one person. So anything outside of a relationship like that, I believe it's out of bounds. So, and it's based up on scripture too. But you know, like I said, I'm more laid back. I would like to just dialogue. And I see we got a person in the chat. How you doing? And other people might be out there listening. I mean, anybody want to put scriptures on anything? I'm all prepared for whatever, but I'm more laid back. Like I said, just more open mic dialogue time. It ain't like I'm trying to dominate the conversation and say this is what it is and this is what it's not. I could do that next week. I'm just dealing with the fact that, you know, as I've been dealing with all this week, you know, how service of God is supposed to do this and do that. And even though we on the sexual conversation, you know what I'm saying, we still have to keep in mind that servants of God are supposed to still carry themselves in a certain way. So I don't know what the other caller said today. I guess people was more listening.
They getting prepared for the Sabbath.
Well, if they get prepared for the Sabbath or not, I'm just saying they probably listening to the show and not wanting to talk and this, that, and whatever. I can't say what people doing because I'm not the people. I don't do that. I ask a question.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I said, there's people out here. We got 2 more callers. Y'all can hit one anytime y'all want. I know some of y'all might be busy, and like I said, you might not have time to talk. We got somebody in the chat if they want to talk. But I'm gonna try to ease over here to this lust conversation that came up yesterday. Cause that's a big part of sexual behavior and wants and don'ts, do's and don'ts in the sexual behavior in a person preference or behavior. You remember the scripture that came up yesterday? What's that? 1 Corinthians.
What did it say?
Was talking about lust. Well, we'll go to Galatians. I don't know if it was 1 Corinthians or Ephesians yesterday.
I think it was that.
Can't remember.
I don't think it was 1 Corinthians.
We'll talk about not lusting after certain things. Well, let me get to the list.
I know one of them was wrong. I don't think I wrote it down. Yeah, it was 1 Corinthians, the 6th chapter.
All right, what verse?
It was 9 through 10.
Okay. It said, as unknown and yet well known, as dying and behold, we live, and chasten and not killed.
Where you at?
I'm in 2 Corinthians. But let me read this, because I'm in 2 Corinthians 6 and 14. It said, be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion has light with darkness? So we know about the yoking being equally yoked with believers. So it's the same thing with sexual behavior. You don't want no one way overboard than you, and you don't want to be, someone way under you. You want somebody around your same speed or levels. That way y'all not grossing each other out. But you said 6 and 10. Yeah, he said, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor railers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God. And such were some of you, but you are washed, but ye are sanctified, but ye are justified in the name of the Lord Jesus and by the Spirit of God, our God. All things are lawful. But I don't know exactly where he took it. Well, 13, meat for the belly, and the belly for meat, for God shall destroy both. Yeah. I don't like that. I don't know exactly what scripture he went to, and I don't know what you just gave me to read.
I told you 1 Corinthians, the 6th chapter, verse 9 and 10.
Oh.
Yeah, you was in 2 Corinthians. You went there first.
Well, I'm in 1 Corinthians 6 now. I was reading 10. I wasn't reading 9.
Right, that's what it is.
No, you not that. No unrighteousness shall inherit the kingdom of God. Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, and so on and so forth. I'm going to go to Galatians like I want to go. I say I'm more laid back. I'm reserved, man. But that goes to show, a lot of people don't want to talk on this subject.
I don't know why. Because if you're doing something that's like in violation, you're going to be held accountable for that. I mean, it ain't no thing of basically being embarrassed because don't nobody know what you're doing. You're just throwing stuff out there. Don't nobody know per se about yourself, only but you. And if you're doing something that's not right, then correct it and keep it moving.
Yeah, but Galatians 5:16, it said, "This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh." One second. Walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusts against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to another, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. But if you be led by the Spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornications, uncleanness, and lasciviousness. And they go into the other stuff, but we just want to deal with sexual things.
So if a person is a nympho, is that like dealing in lasciviousness if they married?
I don't know. I mean, what's a nympho and how do it compare to lasciviousness?
Because a nympho, they want to always have sex, and if the other partner...
I put the word in the key word, tag word, so I got nympho on here, so I know what a nympho is. The thing is, now we have to compare it with being lascivious. So,
and lascivious, like lustful, it's
lust itself is right, but you have to ask the question if lust itself is a sin, or when lust, as the book said, when lust for something most definitely wrong, and it carry itself all the way out, then you in danger, you committed to sin, because you lust for something that was wrong and incorrect. But if you lust for a husband or a wife, is that a sin? And then if you have a husband or wife, if you want to get it on with them like a nymphomaniac, and they, like I said, y'all had a conversation and they all for it too, they're nympho. Then what?
But they can just start portraying. Once they portraying it, then you.
Well, that's deceit. I mean, if anybody lying or deceiving, they at fault. They wrong. I mean, anytime deceit is in the picture, that's wrong. So if people lying and deceit, that's when one will, as she was saying yesterday, one sexual behavior or sex drive outweighs the other person, and then the other person be like, well, I done had enough and I don't want to, and then that's when people stray in their marriage like, well, you're not going to give it to me, I'm going to go outside because, I'm a sex addict and I'm a nympho or whatever, and I'm going to get what I want. If they not just a godly person and trying to, be monogamous with one person anyway. But a servant of God, male or female, would say, well, I would have to do my reasonable service every other night, this and that, because I would want my partner to stray from our bedroom, so on and so forth.
Okay. I just thought that it could go into that, like, why you marry, if, you can deal in lasciviousness, if that was the same, was being a nympho, is that being lascivious? So.
Well, I mean, that's the definition, and how quick cut you want to be to what the definition is. I mean, lascivious, I know somewhat what it is, but in it, like I said, being technical with it, and that's basically how the question is, was this definition and what it is, could it be in a righteous way, or it's just seen always in an unrighteous way?
Right.
You know, because you could say it said, "Be angry and sin not." So is being angry a sin within itself, or is it the things that you do once you angry?
Right.
So when you deal with things like that and you're doing contrast and comparison, then you need to know most definitely the definition of what you comparing and in contrast with the other. And then you get your answer.
Like you being selfish towards them, you're not dealing right, like in 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna use lascivious and stuff, it mentioned a couple times in the book. Let's search it out and see what it says.
Okay. I mean, I don't know, like, per se, like, words to that.
Well, if you buy a computer, you just get BibleGateway.com on.
I'm not buying a computer.
Well,
I just trying to sell my background.
You got a handheld coordinates, a book. But
no.
nah, I'm finna
You saying you buy a computer?
I'm finna look it up. But that's why I said where everybody at. I mean, I didn't want to put in too much work now.
Well, I have a concordance in the back. It has one to where it marks the 7th chapter, verse 22.
No, I'm gonna look it up and we're gonna read some scripture and see exactly what it say.
Okay.
I just gotta type it in that way I can pick it up everywhere it's located. It's a long word. All right, let's go to Mark 7 and pick it up around 22. He's talking about lasciviousness. And he put it with some more stuff. So from what I'm looking at, it's always placed amongst bad things.
Right.
But the thing is, what is the definition of lascivious? I can Google that too. Okay, how you doing, sister? Your mic open.
I'm doing fine, brother. How you doing?
All right. So lascivious.
Hey, sis, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
That's good to hear.
So lascivious, I'm not picking up the definition now, but it's saying something about it. I'll get to it.
You want me to get my dictionary?
Pick it up at 1 Timothy 2 and read 9 and 10 for me.
You said 1 Timothy 2 and what?
Verse 9 and 10.
Okay. 1 Timothy 2, verse 9 and 10. In like manner also, the women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with braided hair or gold or pearls or costly array, but which became a women professing godliness with good works.
Okay. Now, this is the same thing that goes on about the Proverbs 31 woman, the virtuous woman. Now, lasciviousness is being loose and lawed and lustful and all those things. These the words I'm seeing for it. And we know that men are not supposed to just lust after women in that way, and a woman is supposed to keep herself in a certain way that a man will not lust. But do this behavior go on for a man and a woman? You telling me a married man and a married woman, she can't wear lingerie and dress enticing for her husband to help set the mood right? Even, dance on the pole or whatever it is for her husband. So what are we talking about? Is feeling lustful, showing lustfulness, or causing lustfulness, cleavage out, tight apparel, different things that'll go against what's written in Proverbs 6:25. Lust not after her beauty in thy heart, neither let her take thou with her eyelids. Which we not respected persons in a sense. It goes for the same for men. Because you even have, as we were talking, you had a homosexual men out here doing feminine things and trying to attract other more, male type men. They might be they might be more the woman type, and the other one is more the man type. So even if somebody was trying to fight with their homosexuality, people enticing them, being lascivious, would not be, calling lustful feelings, showing lustful feelings, and, things of that nature. But as I said, it's lust itself. Most definitely, we spoke on that, the marriage bed not being defiled. But when you're dealing with a husband and wife, it's a whole nother scenario. Because if people, as we were speaking yesterday, if people truly love each other and got a certain passion for each other, I don't care how much you dress down or do this or do that or whatever you do. I mean, the attraction just going to be there. You could be sitting around watching TV or doing something. Next thing you know, turn off the lights and everything else, Light a candle up, That's why a lot of people, they like the music today. I'll just touch on this a little bit. You have the booty shake music and the strip club music out in society today, but most of that music was made for the women in the strip club so they can entice men in the strip club and dance a certain way, and the lyrics spoke a certain thing to them, which, as I done learned and as we done learned hopefully today, that's lasciviousness. I can't even really say the word, but anyway. That's why they made these songs, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sexual enticement.
Right. And they have songs out here like, I'm just gonna quote the lyrics, It said, "What it is, ho? What's up? Can a brother get some of those guts?" I mean, come on. This is not proper language to have just out in the streets, you know what I'm saying?
But I don't mean to cut in, but that's the language that is spoken when a guy is speaking to a girl these days.
Nah, that's what a guy uses when he speaks to a whore or a hoe. When he speaks to a woman, he say, "How you doing? Man, you looking nice, but can I get to know you?" Or this, that, and he do it a little bit more with discreet. He a little discreet about what he's doing.
There's no discreetness no more. Not up my way. There's no discreetness.
You know, I mean, when you got songs like that, I mean, as we was talking, as the brother was saying yesterday, he was like, well, who controls the situation when one is trying to start a conversation of compatibility of being together, or just even being sexual with each other? Well, somebody sees somebody and they're attracted, and then they get into lusting and saying, well, I wish I had this person next to me, or this, that, and the other, or, you know. So once that happens, then the conversation pursues to cause things to happen. Now,
it all depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for a one-night stand in a drive-through, yes, you're going to get that. But if you're looking for someone that you want to spend the rest of your life with, that's a whole totally different story.
Right.
Especially when it comes to the biblical perspective of it.
So the scenery that you're gonna go to find a compatible mate to what you looking for alike is two different sceneries. You know, if you're looking for a lady of the night, then you go to where they hang out. If you're looking for a woman that's trying to have a career and do something in her life and go to school, and you know what I'm saying, then you would go to the library or some, you know, seminar, bookstore, you know. You'll frequent the places where the woman you looking for fits in that scenery. So, but with what I was saying is the brother was asking who dominates. Well, that's what I said. From the music, I was saying from the music and from the different things, it dominate what it is. You have 50 Cent say, I'm not into making love, I'm into having sex. So everybody sung this song because it was on the radio and stuff for like a whole year. So who's into making love? Nobody, because mentally they've been taken out of that arena and they're into having sex.
Right. Part of the brain is a part of that brainwashing, because I know, like, what I read on, it was saying once you hear something like 7 times, it's already lodged in your brain.
Well, more than that, it's a chant, because you singing the song. That's what most rap music done changed to. I mean, if you listen to a song that keeps saying murder, murder, more murder, more murder, 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 more murder, pretty soon you gonna have more murder in your head, whether you like it or not. It's been subconscious planted. So when you have these young ladies and men's going to the club and it's music that's truly made for the strip clubs and that mentality and lifestyle in the club, then you turning the club out. And everybody that's in there participating in the rituals, in the chants that's going on in the song, then after they leave the club and they done been to the club a couple weekends or 4-5 weekends in a row, then next thing you know, it's going to manifest itself in your everyday life and not just that Saturday night or Friday night or whatever it is that you go out. So everybody is being dictated to by the most popular person that's putting out the music.
Right.
So if it's Beyonce, she got a song like You Better Buy Me a Ring if you want to get with this, then most women's going to say, well, you need to buy me a ring if you want to get with this, especially if you someone of a certain stature or financial class. Then if you got, so you got different people putting out different messages for different financial groups, different age groups, so on and so forth. So the music industry, the radio, the DJ, be it male or female or whatever, controls the same way as I'm going to bring hip-hop in it a little bit. You got the DJ, which controls the rhythm, the tempo, the beats per minute, You know, you can have donkey rhythm or you can have smooth rhythm or whatever, but the DJ controls that. The MC and what he say, the call and response. You know what I'm saying? So this is what you have. You know, just through the music. Now, through the imagery that's on the TV, you know, half-naked women, you watch the soap operas or whatever, it's soft porn. You know what I'm saying? They had homosexuality on most of these shows before they went off the air. You know, all this weighs into people's subconscious and stuff. And that's why, you know, people are being influenced whether they know it or not. And, you know, before you get into a sexual relationship, you would most need to have a sexual dialogue with the other person to see where they at.
Right. Because we all, like, kind of caught up in the matrix, you know? We caught up in the system of what they want to teach us, and knowing that we, like sheep, Israel, we just going right forward and not considering anything.
Yeah, so, I mean, like I said, where everybody at to talk on this topic, I don't know. You know, I don't mind being the one out front and saying everything and putting stuff out there and dealing with stuff, but it's like, you know, I don't want to take this one for the team. Somebody else needs to most definitely, you know, put some things on the table, this and that, you know. But yeah, these the type of things that need to be dealt with, man. And we as a people, as we were saying the other day, in the black community and stuff, basically run and hide from topics and things of this nature. But it's going on every day. I mean, guys said, well, I'm going to church to find me one of them because I know they pretty much hot and bothered.
I heard that before, too.
And, man, that's where you find the biggest freaks at.
Yeah, but I heard that one before, too.
So most of the girls going there and the guys going there with the same mentality. I'm going to wear this and that so I can attract so-and-so. And he's like, I'm going there so I can be attracted, you know. So on and so forth. And not even speak about the homosexuality that's going on in the church now. So,
I mean, fornication is going on. Fornication is going on in there. Why do you want to talk about the homosexuality?
Right.
That's the biggest club now. Everything goes on in the church. Adultery.
Y'all talk a little bit. I'll be back one second.
He just leave us hanging.
Huh?
I say, brother just left us hanging.
Yeah, yesterday it was like really entertaining. It was like a lot.
I heard the recording. I was like, oh my goodness, I missed this. But I was like, sleep. I was real tired yesterday. But I heard the recording. Yeah, it was
pretty good. It was really, but it was I think it's a really good subject to really teach on this because it's like certain things I didn't know that I learned yesterday, and you know that is good, because I don't want to be to where I'm thinking in my mind that I'm doing what's lawful and it's not lawful.
So
I just want to know how serious. I just want to know how serious do people now take marriage, because communication is the key. Communication is the key to find out what that person wants.
And respect.
Well, no one is respecting vows anymore. And the Lord tell you when you make a vow, you pay your vow.
Right.
Lord tell you don't make no promises and do those things if you're not going to do it. So if one respected that more and feared God in that sense more, then marriages would work out more. Because you would understand you have to compromise.
So if the person start keeping their vows and broke the vows, that means that the contract is broken, right?
They're a covenant breaker. That's what the Bible talks about. People that's covenant breakers. So they make an agreement in the covenant. The next thing you know, they break in the covenant and the agreement.
And then got to bring forth judgment at the right timing for people that's like that, because it's like you spiritually breaking it with him, and he's married unto it, so it's just a whole domino effect.
But you even have the American government saying before people just divorce, they supposed to go to marriage counselor, and it's a money making business, but to go to marriage counselor and do this and do that, and a lot of people want to get divorced today, but they can't get divorced because it costs too much, and they got too much other stuff they got to deal with. So
well, they don't. People, the government, and the people that's not biblical or try to live in this purpose that God had ordained for a married couple to live, it's worthless.
Yeah, but I'm just saying at the same time, the government even has it set up a little bit nowadays where you just don't separate like that. Because when you separate, you got to go through legal things to split your property, to split this, to do that, to take that contract you made with the government, that marriage paper that you went and got and had a contract written up with the government, you have to disannul that contract. All of that. So even in the physical world, it's similar to the spiritual world. And if you understand the physical, you will understand the spiritual even more. It's hard. It's easy to put something together, but it's hard to break it up in the sense of the word. But when people try to make it easy to break up, that's when the problem comes in. Because there's nothing to say, well, I love you for life and I won't have nobody else and I won't do this and let's do that. And you say that with ease. And then when it comes to, performing it,
they don't want to do it. Why do people get
but want you to continue on keeping your commitment, but they don't want to keep theirs.
Right.
God will honor you in your honoring your commitment. That's why I done seen situations people break up in less than a month or a year. They trying to get into another relationship and have a sexual relationship with people. I mean, it's difference trying to have just a plain old conversation and trying to build a relationship, but I mean, they jump from one vow to another vow, and they just making vows and covenants and agreements all over the place.
That's dangerous.
Even if they don't want honoring it, they making it with people that's covenant breakers and dishonest. So therefore, they put themselves in danger because they being unequally yoked. That's the scripture we read a little earlier.
Right, and a person basically dealing in deceit with them to, lay with them so they would humble themselves to accept the fact of marriage, not realizing that this is a forever thing, not just a 10-year or 20-year thing.
Yep.
They don't teach the Bible anyway, so it's like, if you don't have no type of knowledge, what do you go off on? Nothing. Just go off with feelings that you think you have.
People perish for a lack of knowledge.
But when you ask the person, do they understand the Bible? Do they understand the Bible and how serious marriage is? And they tell you, yeah. And then afterwards, they change up.
The road to hell was paved with good intentions.
With good intentions.
What they say. People tend to do good and do right. But performing these type of things is hard for a lot of people if they don't have integrity, morals, and a certain type of characteristic about it. Because if you don't stand for nothing, you'll die for anything, and that's the situation. So, a song like, Beyonce saying, what it say? If you son, put a ring on it. If you like it, then put a ring on it.
It's a single lady song.
I'm not a big fan of the music, so I'm trying to do my best. If you know it, then, by all means.
If you don't like it, put a ring on it. I always took it as if we ain't finna deal sexually until you marry me. And if you don't have enough respect for me to do that, then we don't need to deal with each other.
Right. So I was speaking about it a little bit, but I was trying to put it in its proper perspective on both sides. You know what I'm saying? That is her dictating, and that is a good dictation. It's good for her to dictate in that fashion. But then,
she did get married.
Yeah, but what is a marriage in that sense that talk about?
Right. Right.
I'm not trying to get in the gossip mill, because people will say, well, was she pregnant? This, that, and the other, all that. I don't want to get into that.
But
conspiracy theory
you said
stuff.
that if you said that the word said that once you lay down with a woman, you are considered to be married.
You consider to be one. You have joined yourself together.
So when they announced that they was engaged or announced that they was together, they did it.
Who knows? Both of them might not like the opposite sex. I don't know. I can't say. I'm not in their bedroom. I don't have video evidence or none of that.
No. I'm saying when they became boyfriends and girlfriends, they became one with that act.
I don't know if they consummated their marriage. See, that's what I'm saying. I can't speak for this. Maybe they have. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they did have. Maybe they did have sex and create a baby. I don't know. I can't.
But if they was boyfriend and girlfriend and they consummated with sex, then they were married and got
married. That's assuming. That's the same way.
What do you mean assuming?
That's the same way the sister asked the question.
What do you mean assuming? What do you think this is a publicity
That's the same way you asked the question. That's the same way you asked the question the other day about marrying people so they can get a visa and come into the country. That might be the agreement of the marriage. I'm gonna marry you. You gonna pay me $25,000 to marry you so you can get a visa and come into the country. That don't mean they ever got to sleep with each other or have nothing. That's the agreement they had or they share with each other. So what agreement Beyonce and Jay-Z have with each other, I can't say. I can't say if they doing it or not doing it, because I'm not there to verify. Now, if y'all can verify, please do.
I'm just saying when they were boyfriend and girlfriend, if they did have sex, they, in God's eyes, they were married before they actually did it according to the law of the land, because that's what God considered marriage, consummated like that.
A man could be joined to plenty of whores or harlots.
Okay, just imagine that she wasn't a whore and a harlot, but a woman.
A woman. Just a nice, mild, beautiful woman that fell in love with a thug or a gangster or something. He slept with her, and they didn't join themselves sexually. They have a union. They done became one flesh. You lay with each other, you become one flesh. You can look at the physical joining of the body. The insertion of the penis into the vagina, it comes together. And the two bodies are now joined together. You can separate them, but if you look, I'm in the South, if you watch dogs do it, they get stuck. They can't break away from each other. You can run up and try to hit them with a stick and run them and stuff. They are physically stuck together. They cannot just separate like that. So you can look at the animal kingdom, and we don't have preeminence over them. You know what I'm saying? We come out of the dirt just like them. So when two people join themselves together in that manner, they become one flesh.
Until one go outside of that.
It don't matter if you go outside of that or not. You one flesh.
Okay, well, hypothetically speaking, Beyonce and Jay-Z first became girlfriends or boyfriends, then they became engaged, then they became married, and then they had a family.
I mean, that's not even hypothetically speaking. That's fact. Now, anything in between that or you insert in that conversation, you can't prove it.
Well, in some of her songs, she portray as if they went all the way. So I'm gonna go according to her song.
You dealing with the entertainment industry. All they do is sell you a loser. So if you want to buy one, go ahead.
I know. They tell you what you want to hear to make money.
But that's not even the point in the direction that I wanted to go. That's why I really did want to get into it. The whole thing is we're talking about sexual relationships and sexual behavior and stuff, and people communicating with their partners what it is they would like to do or not like to do, and if it's lawful or feasible, being a servant of God to get into those arenas. If a woman want to have bondage or S&M with her husband and he's not into that, that's eventually going to end up being a problem. Because if she loves the bondage and the S&M more than she loves the man, she's going to want the sexual fetish and she's going to go out and try to find it. Or the same thing with him. If he into oral sex because as a youngster, he was a drug dealer, he was getting crackheads to give him oral sex, and he into that, but his wife not into that, then it's going to be a problem because he's into oral sex, and he's not going to get it.
Both of them don't need to get married then. If they still want to experiment with the sexual acts of the world, then they shouldn't get married.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. This is what we're talking about. You have to communicate your sexual preferences to your partner before you become sexual active with each other. Because once you do, you then join yourself in a union in a situation that really is, you can't reverse it. Once you do it,
it's done. That's a done deal.
You don't want two miserable people with you. You don't want two miserable people with each other, just looking at each other like, oh my gosh, I regret being with this person, or
the best way to stop a situation is properly plan beforehand, and that way you can avoid the situation. Like I said, for instance, when I put myself in a situation, the worst thing I hated was a child by me or somebody else was conceived, and I had to wonder, well, is it my child or another person's child? But I could have tried to prevent that whole thing by wearing a prophylactic condom. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't plan for that because my thing was you lay, you stay, and I was trying to honor what I was getting into. But then I come to find out the other side had all kind of other stuff in the situation. Other variables.
No, can I ask how did you find that out?
Find what out?
That she had other things in the situation. How did you come about to find that out?
Well, I mean, time revealed everything.
No, but can you explain to me as an example, how did you find out?
Well, at first, it was long nights and spending time with each other and doing this and doing that. And then time started, The thing is this. When a person has more than one person in their life, they can only dedicate so much time to one person in between the splitting of the time and stuff. So when you getting the majority of the time, and then all of a sudden your time get cut back, It's like, hold up, where you at? What you doing? What's going on? You start asking questions and trying to figure out what's going on because something had changed. So then when you start researching that, that's 9 out of 10 when you find out there's someone else in the picture. And that's normally how it works. It's like, hold up, we've been together, or we be together, and we have sexual relations or whatever with each other so much, and we do this and we do that, and then all of a sudden everything changed. It's due to the fact that something in the other person's life has changed. And if it's not the job or this and that, then it's another individual.
So she lied to you. She betrayed you.
I wouldn't say she lied to me. I didn't investigate. We had conversation before.
You didn't investigate, but you know this is like when you lay with a person is serious, right? This is what I can't understand, because last weekend this is from my point of view, not from her point of view. You got to understand, we dealing with people that servants of God that try to be, and people that's not. As James put it yesterday, if you trying to make it into the kingdom or you don't care about that, you don't have no faith or belief in that. So you plan on two, you unequally yoked. You plan on two different fields of play. I understand. Me and my quote unquote best friend, we had an argument about that. It's like we supposed to be knowing what, the word of God, and having the textbook to be our life, to give us life.
Are you talking about everybody, or are you talking about those that know?
What do you mean?
You saying we supposed to know, we including or excluding who?
No, I was telling you something that happened between me and my best friend, the argument that we had in concern.
Right, but you said we supposed to know the word of God, so I'm trying to figure out who the we are. We are the ones that they study the Bible and trying their best to walk with what God has said in the Bible. Okay, I'm with you now.
So that means you fall in that sense to where you supposed to be knowing the Bible at that time.
But it don't matter if I know the Bible. The thing is, I was trying to have a relationship. And everything that was going on, I was honest with it all. The other person had other variables and things in the situation that I didn't know about, that I didn't investigate and say, well, no matter what this situation is, I'm not going that way or that way. I just took it as I'm in a relationship, I'm dealing with you, and in doing that, whatever it is she was doing or not doing, or she was into or not into, I had to deal with it. And that's what we're talking about now. When you dealing with a person, whether there's things you know or don't know, when you dealing with that person, you buying the whole lot. If they got AIDS, then you get AIDS. If they got children, then children come with the whole package. If they got financial problems or this and that, then that come with the package. Whatever it is, you take on the responsibility of being a part of another person's life, for us having a relationship and making vows and commitments towards each other. Then whatever they bring it to the table, or you bring it to the table, that's the whole package. You got to deal with it. So me not investigating or even looking into it, or unbeknown that she was married, had nothing to do with the fact that I was buying the whole package. As I tell people, in dealing with love and relationships and stuff, if you want to have a true, honest relationship, then you have to be a sellout in a sense. You have to go in full-heartedly about the situation, not doubting nothing, and whatever comes, you deal with it. That's if you want that relationship or that situation. Now, if you don't, because once you done made a vow, and once you done did the do, and once you done did this and that, as we know, knowing the Bible, you done bought this whole cow. You got this whole situation now, no matter what it is. If they end up in a car wreck the next day and they mangled, you got to sit there and you got to nurse that person to the end of their life if you never have sex with them or never be able to interact with them in the same way. Because something like that could happen.
But I'm talking about, I know, now we're talking about marriage. I understand that. But I'm saying, if we're supposed to use the textbook, which is the Bible, as our life textbook, then we should follow that. We should follow that. We shouldn't be,
in the fact that we talking about marriage, we talking about vows, commitment, and
I understand that. I know the values of marriage. I'm saying that when you start talking or communicating with the opposite sex, you're going to have to let him know this is what you're about.
Right. But see, in the conversation that we having, I'm telling y'all, I had a conversation. Okay, you got children. Can you have more children? Because I'm a guy that, for as I know, don't have no children. I want children. I at least want one. Somebody carry on my legacy, my name, reproduce that I came from and that I am. So I asked that. I asked this. I asked that. I asked different questions. But me being young and never being in a situation, and I heard about it and stuff, though, I never said to myself, like, are you married? Or have you been divorced? Or are you a widow? What was your last relationship status?
Did she lie to you? Did she deceive you? Because she held on some information that you needed to know that she needs to volunteer.
To me, that's not lying and deceiving. It's just
I consider that to be.
No.
I consider that to be, because that just lets you just go into a danger zone, knowing that she is married.
That's why the investigation is on the person and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
The investigation is on both parties. On both parties.
Right. So lying and stuff is not. If a person said I'm not married and they are married, then that's lying. But if they withhold information, then it's just like you didn't search it out.
Okay. Well, you thought that she was single, right?
Yeah.
Huh? Did you ask her was she single?
No.
You didn't ask her that, so you just walk up to any woman and say, I want to be with you and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. While asking, are you single?
It's like the communication thing that we talking about. And let's understand this. James, your mic.
Did she say that she was single?
Hold up. Let's understand this. We talking communication here. If a person,
that's right.
If a person, as we just read with the Bible, if a person winking at you, giving you signals that physically they're attracted to you, then you have to see if you're attracted to them. And if two people
you never asked her was she single?
Hold up. If two people are attracted to each other, then conversation proceeds on from there. And then in that communication, it's only so much stuff gonna come out because there's only so much you can cover within a.
Well, you should have covered one. Somebody should have covered is y'all single? That should be the main question.
That's why I said my question.
But if she did have like any respect for you or liked you, she should have at least told you that she was married. At least she could have did that.
She didn't do that like you wouldn't do that if you wanted to have a relationship with somebody you was married.
What?
Can I say something?
Why? Wait a minute. What did you say?
If you are caught up in your wait a minute. If you are caught up in your lust, you won't say that. You would just be like trying to hide the fact that you are because you want this particular individual.
The thing
listen, I would ask that person, "Are you single?" Because I don't want no jealous broad coming up behind me and saying that you with my man, you with my husband, because that's a danger.
Look, anybody that present themselves as want to have a relationship with you, 9 out of 10 is a single person unless you ask, are you single? Are you married? Are you widowed? What was your last relationship status? And I just got through talking about this, so let's not act like we missed that whole point.
I'm not acting like we missed the whole point.
Can I add something? Can I please add something? I mean, there's more than one of us in here, so I mean, there's more than one experience. I had an experience with a woman, and when I first met, I mean, out the gate, like when I meet anybody, I let her know, listen, I'm not like a lot of individuals or men you may come across, whatever. I eat a certain kind of way. I deal a certain kind of way. I just have, different set of values and beliefs, whatever. And I kind of laid them out on the table. So basically, I set up a foundation that I'm a Bible-based. I live a Bible-based lifestyle. I mean, anybody with a general, simple understanding of the Bible at least knows, no adultery. Premarital sex is kind of iffy. Threesomes and things of that nature, drugs and stuff like that or whatever. It's it's off the table. It's not even an option. So with that being said, this woman was married, and I didn't ask, but she had the knowledge that this dude, this brother, he deals with the Bible. Like, I know I'm not supposed to be committing adultery. I asked was she seeing somebody at the time, and no, she wasn't seeing anybody because she was married, but her husband was serving life in prison. And he had been locked up for probably, I guess, 6 to 8 years, somewhere around that time frame. I guess he got another good 12 more to go. But again, I didn't ask if she was married. I didn't see a ring, and I didn't ask if she was divorced. I didn't see a ring. And again, she didn't tell me that she was married. I ended up finding out she was married because one day after we had been dating for a while, she happened to, I guess before I met her, it was a habit for her to wear a wedding ring. And when she met me, she wasn't wearing her wedding ring. So after a while, I guess she got back into the habit of doing what she would normally do when she had her wedding ring on. And I noticed it one morning. I'm like, that's not a regular ring. That's a marriage ring. You're married? So, it was a total surprise to me. And she went about telling me the whole nine, what all happened and everything like that. And, I mean, I laid myself to blame somewhat, but, I mean, it's a two-party thing. It's the responsibility of the individual seeking somebody, and it's also the responsibility of the person that's being sought after. I mean,
right.
You got to tell somebody something. I mean,
right.
She deceived me. She misled me, and she knew where I stood. I mean, even if she didn't know where I stood as far as living a Bible-based lifestyle, you're married. How you don't think that's something you should tell me? How is that? Like, you know what you're doing, and she knew what she was doing. She wanted to lay with me, and I mean, I can't say I didn't want the same thing. And I got misled into doing something I shouldn't have did.
Right, and the reason why I'm stressing that because I had got myself in a position just like that.
Well,
and this is my soul that it was on the line here.
Right, but let me say
people
this.
People walking around playing games with other people that are trying to live a lifestyle.
No, check it out. People not playing games. People are being honest in what they're doing. That's why I said, check it out. A person is not lying to you. They just not telling you everything that it is that you about to get yourself into.
It's still a lie.
Nah, that's deceitful right there. She knew what she was doing.
That's a lie.
It's not playing games in the sense of playing a game, but it's playing a game in the sense of what you're doing is wrong. Like, she knew what she was doing was wrong.
Me personally, I asked the person, so you lied to me to get with me, and he said, yes, I lied.
Well, hold up. We gotta look at how things are being talked about. Number one, you either gonna say a lie's this, and you gonna bring everything that you dealing with, and you gonna show how it is a lie, or you're gonna say a lie's this, and you gonna show how something different from what a lie is. Now,
a lie is dishonesty. If that's dishonest behavior, and dishonesty means not being honest and putting things that are important on the table, and that's something that's important needs to be put on the table. Look, I'm married, and you hide that. You're being dishonest. You're being deceitful. You're being misleading. You're giving messages.
It goes back to what we were saying. You want to be with them, they want to be with you. You don't know what all you getting yourself into. That don't mean somebody lying to you. But I'm trusting this person. I'm trusting this person at their word. I'm trusting this person at their word. And believe me, I do ask the right question. Are you married? Are you single? Because these are very important questions to ask a person. Right.
Even if I don't,
do you have any baby mama dramas?
Right. even if I don't ask, like, listen, do you have AIDS or any type of disease and stuff like that, it's still your
don't wait until 2
responsibility
months
to let
later.
the
You say,
other
I took a
person
sex
know.
test to see if I have AIDS or not.
Hold up,
Excuse me?
y'all dealing with emotions and stuff now. We trying to have a reasonable conversation.
I was at emotions,
This
so
is
that's
reasonable.
That's realistic.
Cause
That's
y'all screaming and talking over each other and me. So I mean,
this is not realistic. Anybody that's on here, listen. It's not right for you. It's not your responsibility alone to just ask somebody. Listen, have you been tested? Are you sure that you don't have anything? You're not a host to any type of sexually transmitted diseases.
Right.
Also, they charge people with knowingly passing AIDS. It's like if you know that you got AIDS and you don't tell the person that you with, that person does not have to ask you. If you know that you have it, you carry it, and you don't tell that person.
I understand all that. But notice what I've been saying and what I'm dealing with and what we dealing with here. If you want to have a relationship with a person and you going about having a relationship with that person, and everything about that person is not put on the table. Because you could go to financial records, you could go to all kind of stuff. You're not finna go through a whole checklist of stuff. That's why you should have to wait a year or this and that to find out exactly who it is you're dealing with. But if you trying to have a relationship with a person, the thing is, when you make a vow or join yourself to that person or whatever, you done bought the whole cow. I don't know if it got cow disease or what. The thing is, you didn't purchase or you didn't put yourself in a situation that you all in. And if you're not willing to go all in, then you don't put yourself in that situation. And that's as simple as
that's neither here nor there. I mean, I understand it. I think we all understand the point you're making because you made it a few times. But the thing about it is I just haven't heard an acknowledgement from you, from your part. And I'm not saying that you got to. I'm just saying because I hear and I understand and I agree to a degree of what you're saying, but this is what I'm also saying. It's misleading. Like I think what the sister did to you was deceptive. I think it was misleading. I think it wasn't right. That's all I'm saying. When somebody is in that position and they don't fully disclose things that are pertinent and key of importance to somebody having a choice and deciding, well, knowing this, I don't want to deal with you, or knowing this, I'll continue on with you. But at the same time, when you get with somebody, certain things that haven't been discussed or disclosed, you either have to still make that choice whether or not you want to deal with that person. At least give a person that God-given right to choose whether or not they want to deal with you. You and your baggage.
And I'm agreeing with you, but the thing was someone stated that is lying. And to me, that's not lying.
Well, everybody look at things differently, and I consider that to be a lie, and you don't.
Right. So that's all, and that's all I was reasoning.
And this is coming from a woman's point of view with experience on that.
Right.
Just like you coming from a man's point of view with your experience on that.
Right. And that's all I was saying.
My point of view, I think. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Carl.
All I was saying, if we're going to talk about it, them are the grounds that we got to reason on. If this is a lie, this not a lie, based up on facts being withheld or a blatant, yes or no.
Of the truth.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I won't say it's a lie. Just real quick a second. I won't say it's a lie as far as it was presented to you and you denied the truth. I'll say it's dishonest, which is basically a lie, or withheld. It's dishonest, and that's what a lie is. It's a form of dishonesty. Okay. Now, you can break that down into whatever group you want to, lie, cheated, stole, it was dishonest.
Okay, what about this?
1 second, hold up. It's another person I opened up their mic, and I wanted to acknowledge the fact that I opened it up just in case they want to be a part of the conversation. Go ahead. Go ahead, Anita.
Oh, I had heard a story like a couple years ago, and it was this guy, he basically had raped this woman. Then come to find out, the woman that he raped, he basically married her, the same woman he raped, he married her. And the woman didn't find out that he was the guy that raped her until when they had a child. The child basically needs some type of blood fusion or something, and the guy was a match for it. and then she came to find out that because she had got pregnant by the dude that raped her. So trying to find out that her husband was a match for it. So she divorced him. So knowing that he raped her and then married her, that wasn't a lie or that wasn't deception or nothing.
I say it's bad. I just say it's bad circumstances. I mean.
And she didn't know that he raped her.
Yeah, I mean that's been like on Lifetime movies and different stuff, and even probably Law and Order. But
it was real life. Huh? It was on. It was real life. It was like a real story.
I mean,
it wasn't a movie.
Most TV shows and different stuff comes from the imagination of the mind of people, and they didn't either heard the real thing or they imagined it. So either way it go, I'm just acknowledging the fact that, you know, it's been on TV too.
I think it's like one of them or show. I don't know. It was on some type of show, like it wasn't a Survivor show. It was on some type of true life story show or something.
Lifetime.
And I thought
Lifetime. The Woman's Channel.
I don't know if it was on Lifetime, but it was like a true story.
It don't matter. It really don't matter. I heard the story. It's either true, false, or whatever. It really. I don't want to be harking on minor points in the conversation where we kind of reason. You know. The whole thing is the emphasis need to be put on you should not take a leap of faith until you have good grounds to take a leap of faith on. But if you take a leap of faith, then that's what you're doing. You're taking a leap of faith. And you're gambling with your life when you do that. And that's what happened when you try to join yourself to another person. Because another person could be schizophrenic, crazy, this, that, could be all kind of stuff. But if you're trying to have a relationship with that person, them are the odds and the chances you taking when you're dealing with joining yourself with another person. So to what degree you going to investigate that other person before you take that leap of faith to them chances? Everybody have to make that on their own.
So that means being friends with them and weighing it out, at least giving it 6 months, because that's when a person's guards are down to where you can actually, they revealing who they are within 6 months to a year. So within that time, you know what you're getting, because a person's professing out of their mouth, their actions are portraying what type of person they are. So if y'all cool and friends first, like I was saying yesterday, because if you have a mate or your husband, he has to be everything instead of just being your husband.
Correct, because but the thing is, people will sell you a pyrite foods gold. They'll hold out as long as till they get what they want. It's people out here in this world.
Tell me, it's only for so long, and the span of that is like 6 months to a year, because a person, they subconscious comes out and they naturally do what they're gonna do. I'm just telling you by experience. And they're going to have it to where they're going to let their guards down, and they're going to be, if they're a nigga, they're going to show you that they're a nigga. And if they are the same and they solid, they're going to show you that. It's going to be revealed in a time span that it's supposed to. That's why you're supposed to prove a friend.
Everything is revealed over a period of time. But then at the same time, you have to look and you got to be aware and vigilant of different stuff. So when it do presents itself and show itself, you can see it. But when you
what you want to do with a knife.
When you in so-called love and you're not already bitten of that forbidden fruit and all that type of stuff, then perception messed up.
Right. I mean, the thing of it, like the person I was talking about yesterday, and it all goes back to the fact of that you have to trust in God. And you have to be walking solid. If God knows that this is a person for you, he's going to reveal it, and he's going to reveal them for what they are. So I had it to where the person I was trying to deal with, he seemed like an okay guy, and he would humble himself to certain things that I would say or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I asked God to reveal his heart for what it is. And he revealed it, and we was talking, and I guess he was frustrated or whatever happened that period of time, to where he revealed he just wanted to sleep with me. And I was like, everything that you basically doing, because I'm going to set it right on the front line for you, basically, what type of person I am, what I'm looking for in A, B, and C. So knowing in it, certain things that you ain't doing, I'm letting you know. I'm like, don't try and play me because you saying this, but your actions ain't weighing out. But then you try and have it to where you saying that it is that don't pay attention to the actions. It's already whatever. So in its span,
right, but
like I took for the 6 months, then it was revealed that this all that you want, because I prayed to God and I asked him to reveal it for what it was. So in it, that's not what I want. So I just kept it moving on something different.
But like we saying, if you put up front what you want and the other person don't do it, then just like hold up. Just like the pursuer and the one that's pursuing, the person that don't put the most information up on the table is the one in the most powerful position. Because if you be like, if you reveal your heart secrets and the different things to a person, and they only reveal some to you, then they know where your heart at, they know where your weakness is at, they know where you open it. And if they want to be with you, they don't have to lie to you. All they got to do is keep feeding that with you that you put on the table. And at the end of the day, they gonna get what they want, and it's not a lie. I want you. I like the fact you this. I like the fact you that, and I like everything about you. And I want you. I want to be with you, and they will be with you. But the thing is, if they have other obligations and other things because they're attached with someone else too, then that's gonna draw away from everything that you two have, and that's the way it goes, and it's not. To go back to what we was talking about, it's not to say person lying or whatever. They being truthful and honest in what they pursuing. They pursuing you.
Because if I'm married, then that's saying that it's okay for me to deal with somebody or a dude coming and talking and he's saying the right stuff I want to hear like he's saying. Yeah, that is what I want. That's where it goes into the adultery, because the man is telling this woman or the woman's telling the man exactly what they want to hear. And yes, it is true, because I need to hear this, because one point in time my man was telling me this, but he wasn't. He's not now. So in it, yes, I do desire this. So in it, okay, it justified me to basically sleep with you and not tell you that I'm married. That's wicked as hell on that person's part, and that's treacherously departing from God in that covenant, and he will deal with that person. Because if that is nothing wrong in it, then why is the hurt there when all of a sudden the other person is there? Being revealed at that time. Why does God have to reveal that, oh, yeah, she was married, or, oh, yeah, he's married? Why he have to reveal that? That's not right at all. So that's very treacherous, very treacherous. The Israel has done that to God forever.
Right,
ever
but
since discrimination. And that's not fair. That's why he kept putting us away.
The thing is, though, even though it may be treacherous, this and that, it's honest. Because some people, hold up. Some people that do that truly fall in love with the other person. Some people do that and they ain't never had no love for the other person.
Right.
So the whole thing is you have to deal with it based up on the situation and exactly what's all going down within the situation. But if you deal with anything with emotions and look at it from a hurt or this and that, because even when a person reveals themselves, you should say, well, thank you, because now I'm no longer in the dark and I can make a conscious decision on what I'm dealing with now.
Exactly.
Raw and uncut.
And that's what we've been time.
Because now it's raw and uncut. But the thing is, when you done went in it and you done made vows and you done joined sexually and stuff, it's still you in a bad situation, because no matter what you do, you just still connect yourself to a person. Emotionally, physically, and everything else.
Right, because I was in a situation before he even that particular. I was in a relationship, like I told you, and he basically was cheating on me the whole time, but I wasn't looking for it. I didn't know it came to me. And the thing is, like...
Can I ask this? Can we get off of personal things that we done been through a little bit? Because I think that's swaying the dialogue from where it truly needs to go a little bit. Because it's like, feelings and emotions come back from past situations.
I mean, I'm very grateful that God revealed it for what it was, because it was a headache to me. I was a soldier with him the whole time. I put him on his feet, and the thanks I got was that. And I'm very grateful, because me and his mom is still cool, and he on whatever he's on. But that's, that particular story, it helped me to be able to just wait on God to send me whatever, because I feel if I put myself in a situation, foolishly put myself in a situation, I'm going to ride it out. And that's what I did for that whole year, and then it came to me being revealed that he had somebody else. I was actually happy to an extent. I was kind of relieved, because I started treating him like, because he didn't have nothing. I still was helping him out. I was still doing this. I was still doing certain things as if we were still a couple, and it was like confusing to him, and he was thinking that I was on some other stuff that I was.
Who haven't seen the diary of a mad black woman and she still showed the brother love and took care of him after he did all that he did? I mean, you have.
I only did it because
I'm just saying. Hold up. We have true life stories that we can go off of. We have TV shows, movies that we can go off of. We got books. It's all type of stories, factual and fictional, that we can deal with the situation. The situation is trying to understand where one has been before, how not to end up there anymore.
Exactly.
And from this point on, what are we gonna do, and how, with this knowledge we have, where we gonna go with it, and how can we help others with it? That's why I said personal things kind of is distorting the conversation a little bit.
I mean, I hold no grudges on it. I'm very grateful. So now I know better in certain situations now. Like what was bringing out, the communication, that's the biggest thing, period. And just waiting. And then having that respect for a person. And if it be to where they for you, that's good. If not, then they telling you what they want, what they don't want. If it don't agree with you, then
let me ask this question. Do you think whatever mate God was sent to you is a person that you're going to frequently be around and know already?
I don't really know that, but in my heart is like, I think that it would be, because you're supposed to be best friends with this person. You're supposed to know him and all of that, and hanging out, and I would think, especially the way things are nowadays.
Well, hold up. I'm just saying, like, I'm in Arkansas now. I'm in a small community. If I don't move to the next community, if I'm going to find a woman, if I'm looking, most likely it's going to be a woman around this town, unless I go out pursuing outside of the city limits. So that means it's probably a woman around here that I grew up with, that I know. I know her family. She know my family. I know her history, even if she been loose or not, and she know my history. Or if you go to a church or you frequent this place, then you know that person because you've been in the church. You know families. You know this and that. And if you at work, you know different stuff.
It depends on the situation. Because God can have somebody that's like totally so far, or somebody that's near. It's just that timing when it's ready when he's ready to merge out together.
Right, but I was saying that due to the fact that if you don't take the time to know that person, it's probably a person you already know.
Most definitely.
So if it had to be a time frame of you learning and knowing that person, it's probably gonna be somewhere that you frequent a lot. They see you, you see them, or y'all talk, and it's unbeknown. But then next thing you know, it's like, well, can we go out on a date or something? And then it's like, well, I know this person, and you know they have some attractive qualities, this, that. Yeah, for sure. Let's try to do this and do that. And then you're more familiar with the person instead of trying to learn the person. That's why I'm trying to put that.
It'll naturally gel with you guys. And then, like, I'm going to always say, if you having thoughts or whatever on that, you always pray and you ask God, but then you got to make sure that you basically walk in His walk, because He'll answer your prayers. If you sincere about it, if it's so serious, then you fast about it to let Him know how serious you are about this, and He will reveal it in His time. He always reveals things to me in my dreams and things, whatever, but it's like He will reveal certain things at the right time. It's all about timing with Him. And if this person is for you, you go for it. If it's not, then it is what it is.
Yeah. So
if y'all gel with each other, it's a natural gel, then why not?
Yeah, okay. So could the rest of y'all chime in on that? Do you think it's a person that's close, or do you think it's a person that you eventually will spend time around?
Either or. Everybody have their different preferences of what kind of mate they want to have.
It may not always.
It could be a long distant one. It could be someone that live around the corner.
I may. It ain't even like on a physical realm, because it's like if you want somebody a particular, and I had to get out of it because that's like the flesh part of it, to where I like a person that's tall, thin, or built a certain way, and it's like no, you can't think like that. It's all about the mind and the gelling that y'all have with each other, and if this person is what you want, like godly, if he's godly and this is what you need, God at times He'll give you with certain things you want, but He's going to give us what we need, and it always be what we not expecting. That's why we always miss out on certain things, because it's like we want this to look this way or to be presented this particular way, and it never comes that way. And then when we actually consider God and start applying certain things, then it comes to the knowledge like, geez, me and this person actually get along, and you actually consider that person as being a potential mate. We too much on the physical realm with so much stuff, and I had to get myself out of that particular realm of things, because all assholes was coming to me when I thought in a particular that mindset. Because Satan hears our prayers too, and he's going to address what we want. He's going to address what we want.
What was the question again?
If most likely it's a person that's in your, on the everyday, travels, or will it be someone that eventually will be put in your path that's in your normal day travels and stuff, where you pretty much already, knowledgeable of who the person are, what they do, what they don't do, and these things and certain questions you won't have to ask, So if it's more like, is it somebody that's already in your life, or will they be coming into your life in, within a year or so?
So basically, the question is twofold, but I'm going to try to read between, because you're asking two at once.
Yeah.
So basically, you're stating that, do we believe that your mate can be someone you already know that's within distance, or it can be someone that's long distance?
Well,
now, or are you looking at it from your choice of picking that mate? Because you already know, you already have everybody on this phone have an ideal of who they're attracted to. You already have an ideal of what kind of mate you want. As far as whether it's long distance or a short distance, it depends on the environment you put yourself in. If you say you're attracting jackal, well, then what are you receiving? What environment are you in? In other words, get out the junkyard. Stop shopping in the junkyard. It's where you put yourself, Is it convenient for you to date someone within distance, or is it convenient for you to date someone out of distance? That's an up in the air question, So you can't directly answer that question, because it can be a local, it can be a non-local. It's what you're willing to do. If you find an interest in someone not in your community, or you willing to put in the time to community. That's up to you. So is it easier for you to have someone that's within distance of you? Yeah, that's less work you have to do. Is it someone you already know? Yeah, that's less work you have to do. You don't have to go into the point of trying to find out information about that person. That's just less work on you. So that's a decision individuals made.
Right, but I was most definitely trying to move the conversation from where it was, and and that's the thing. I like to conversate, and stuff like this is so much to be heard, dealt with, and stuff that to get clogged up or stopped in the places like it's my job to try to unstop things that get clogged up. So.
And sometimes when we're talking, we have to stop trying to visualize ourselves in a situation, because every comment is going to be related to your personal situation. Sometimes it's just a combo. You can't always see yourself in that conversation. It's just a combo, because if you do, you're going to keep on somehow attaching it to your personal experience. And sometimes it has nothing to do with your personal experience. That's how emotions start to run high. So you have to stop attaching yourself to every little thing that's being said and relate it to your personal experience, because sometimes it has nothing to do with your personal experience.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was stating it in the fact that, to be somewhat general but not, and just dealing with situations that, if you're going to be a counselor or you're going to be someone that's trying to help a person or people or whatever, you have to be able to look at all angles. But as I was trying to explain, the way people program or see things sometimes dictate how they deal with stuff. Because you can like just relating the conversation to or not to something. You can have people that related to life experiences, or you can have people just related to basic experience. And if this experience did happen, even though it may or may not have happened to me, I should be able to look at it from a certain point of view. But depending on how you look at things, you might not be able to put yourself on the outside. You might have to interject yourself into it to be able to deal with it in a certain fashion. So we just have to realize how we perceive stuff and how we deal with stuff, because it goes back to that, if the glass is half full or half empty. No, it depends on how you relate things or look at things, because someone could say it's half full and you can say, no, it's half empty. Somebody say, well, it's half empty, and you say, no, it's half full. Now you don't want to match the person. You want to be indifference with the person. But that's just the type of personality some people are. So once you realize, if because it's the same way we talking, you see this in TV shows. They used to do it a lot in like the comics and stuff. One person to say one thing and the other person to always say the opposite of it, and this and that. So we just have to realize in the conversation that we could find ourselves doing those type of things.
Right. And when you're convo and you're trying to help somebody, first of all, you need to find out where they're at. Just for example, if I'm on a spot of road and my car is broken down and I call somebody for help, your question should be, where are you at? Then you should ask me, how do I get to you, versus you telling me how you going to get to me. You understand what I'm saying? You need, if you're going to reach out and help people, you need to find out where that person at, and you need to allow that person to tell you how to get to them. Because if you're telling me how you're going to get to me, then you're coming from your perspective, and you're looking at it from a biased mindset versus an open mindset. Because
that's a good way of putting it.
The common ground that we all have here on this phone is that we all have been hurt at one point of time in our life. Here's the overcoming of that. How have you learned from that, and how can you help the next brother and sister overcome what they may be going through? Mm-hmm. That's the whole point of the situation. Bitterness is when a person don't like the situation they were in, and they have allowed themselves to stay in that. So bitterness is not going to help. You have to forgive and move on. We can't stay in the same spot. We must move on.
Right.
You learn from that. Thank God you came out and you learn from it. And you move on so you can be able to help the next person. That is why you were able to get out of that situation. God, it was rough, but thank God I didn't die in that situation.
Right.
In other words, you cut me, but I didn't bleed. Let's move on. And that's the whole point of it. We are gaining knowledge from one another, from whether past or current experience, but we cannot pretend that we cannot go on pretending to be different. Whether we was lied to or deceived, you were getting some out of that relationship too, or that event, because you stayed in it long enough to get to that point. So you got some out of it too. And then shake it off and move on. Keep it moving. You know.
And if you guys will, then he'll seem to be that person that's for you.
Exactly. But
and if
you got to do what the book told you. But you got to do what the book told you, sister. Like I tell people, how you going to sell an open book test? He told you to seek ye the kingdom of heaven. All is righteous. And all will be added unto you. See, while you got your eyes on him, he going to give you what you need.
Exactly.
When it's time. Well, we got to keep our eye. We got to press for the mark of a high collar. We got to keep moving. Sometimes the thing that is before you is better than what's distracting you.
Amen.
Well, let me say this. We got 3 minutes, so everybody make sure you don't fall off so you can go into overtime if y'all want to go into overtime and extend this conversation. Seeing the Sabbath finna come in and we don't have much else to do, I mean.
I enjoy it. I love it. I love to hear the sister talk. She's had some great experience, but I would like to see her move a little past some of that stuff. Move on. I love it. I believe she's learned from it, and she can help others eventually.
Okay, we got another call, and I'm going to open up their mic. So, 313, how you doing?
What's going on? Can y'all hear me?
Peace, how you doing, bro?
How you doing? Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
My phone kind of messed up, so I'm just making sure. Look, my name is Jaheim B. Israel. I want y'all to go in overtime. I caught on to the message later. Sister put me up on it. But I want y'all to go in overtime. I mean, even on the Sabbath, y'all still talking about, holding. It's still cool. But we need stuff like this. You understand what I'm saying? We can be with our brothers and sisters. So I think y'all should go in overtime. That's all I got to say. Shalom.
All right, well, your mic open. We going in overtime just as soon as the clock takes us into it.
Now, how do I get off the mic without hanging up the phone?
You don't want to speak no more?
No, I want to stay on it, but I don't want the phone to hang up. I just want to get off the mic. What do I do?
I can mute your mic. So I'll just mute you and you'll be there. And I'll check on you from time to time. I can go back and speak and see if you want to be a part of the conversation or not.
Oh, that's cool. I ain't got nothing else to say. I just like what y'all talking about. That's all.
Okay.
Okay, shalom. Shabbat shalom.
All right, well, I'm going to mute your mic. So, yeah, I mean, the last couple of days, we done had some good conversation and a lot of stuff come out of it. Don't take nothing I say personal, because all I'm trying to do is make sure the conversation go a certain way. I have to try to steer this car. But besides that, I mean, all the input, y'all got me on here putting more of myself out here than I would like to. A little uncomfortable with. But if it's to help someone else, like I said, I bear that burden. Because I done had a lot of them type of experiences. And even when I went through my experience, I kind of reflect back on past relationships and experiences I had that, people might truly have cared for me and loved me and did this and that. But me being young and wild and stuff, I just ran off from them like, hey, I'm out of here. I don't like what's going on, and we're not communicating right. And so when I may have left the person that was for me due to the fact that I was immature and wild and stuff and not communicating. And then as I got older and I want to communicate and do this and do that, now I'm feeling the blunt of class things that, never was really revealed to me to, I got my heart stomped on and smashed and put up on a dartboard and dart stone in it and stuff, But it's all learning experience.
I feel if they was that person for you, they'll still be here. They'll still be with you. If that's that person that's for you, or it may be to where you might see that person again, and knowing that you grew up, you have wisdom, you can deal with it better.
Well,
whoever wants to put us in our journey in life, if they off the course, then that's a finish.
No, I'm just going back to the fact that because maybe this is a law people may not be knowledgeable of, that once you get a divorce, you're not supposed to go back to that same spouse.
Right.
That's a part of the law. Yeah, that's a part of the law of divorcing, that you're not supposed to go backwards to the past spouse.
But then the thing
y'all weren't married, though, were y'all?
No, I'm just saying. A lot of people might not be aware of that. So since we're talking about marriage and sexual relationship and just relationship in general, it is a law on the books that say if you married to a person and y'all get that divorce, that you're not supposed to backtrack. You move forward.
But if it's like before your baptism, then it should be okay afterward, because God winked at all of that.
I don't think it said once you baptized, then you can go back to the past person. I think it's clear, and it's that you're not supposed to go back.
That's like the first day of your existence to God when you actually get the baptism, because He consider you as being alive under that covenant with Christ. So everything else is like wiped away, which is talking about in Ezekiel.
I understand all that, but the day you born, that's the day you alive. And the baptism, it represents new creature, this, that, and the other. But I don't think the baptism disannul that law that say you're not supposed to go back, because it was a law before you was baptized, and it's going to be a law after you baptized. And more than anything, once you baptized, you're supposed to uphold the law. So the law said you're not supposed to go back, and it don't give those circumstances.
So I guess the guy I was with for the 8.5 years, I couldn't have went back to deal with him, like, he engaged now, like, if he wasn't to where I couldn't go back to deal with him.
I'm just stating what the law says, so I can't give you too much information outside of that. The law said don't go back to, you was married to him, so it most definitely said if you was married, you're not supposed to go back. So, thus said the writings of Moses. (313), your hand up again.
I mean, I would want to be back. I'm just saying.
313, your hand up again. You want to speak? So I thought I'd put that on the table, though.
So I would like to ask a question. You are married, right? And on the grounds of divorce is fornication and adultery?
Correct. Them the only grounds.
Okay. So if your mate committed fornication and adultery, but the party did not know about it, but once it became aware of what the other party did, y'all are considered to be divorced, and you can't mend things with one another?
You're not considered to be divorced. You still have to go through the proper procedures of being divorced.
And what is the proper procedure?
You could choose to still be with that person, even though they committed a sin towards you, or broke the vows of the covenant of marriage.
But you have to be like a strong-minded individual to be, or like really in love with this person to actually really take them back after they done lay with another man or lay with another female. It's like,
hey, you got to be close to what God told you. Be able to forgive, which goes back to how much have He forgiven the person. Even you.
right.
And if He could be that forgiving, and you're supposed to be holy for He is holy, and you're supposed to be trying to reach that perfection that He's supposed to, that He has, then you will learn how to forgive certain stuff and this and that.
So knowing in that, how many times can you, forgive for that, even though, like, that is the same as
70 times 70.
What? That's being stupid, but, because I'm not going to be somebody who's constantly sleeping around on me. And then you'll become, God with that. Not you, per se.
Some people are different.
70 times 70. Isn't it 70 times 70 that you're supposed to give your brother or sister?
Right, that's when you got the heart for that. Not everybody got the heart for that.
Every time I turn around, you with Jane and next door neighbor and my mom or whoever is just like, nah, that's just too much for a person.
No,
like,
isn't that right? 70 times 70. That's how many times you're supposed to forgive your brother or your sister.
It's truly infinite. 313 if you want to speak. Y'all
that's
go ahead.
all that means.
But that is like no different than the other like being a murderer or, stealing or anything else. But it has to be some type of grief for God to put that on the plate to be like, no, this is the reason why you depart from them if they commit fornication or adultery. So he put that on a higher level to be like, if it ain't no 70 times 70 on that.
Oh no, the apostles came in with that one. They just said like it's not for that it's not a commandment, that it's something that they put out there because they know that they understood when they was writing that they were dealing with vessels of flesh.
Of course, but that's just crazy. I'm not gonna deal with somebody you constantly every time I turn around you doing that. It's like that would bring my self-esteem really low.
Hey, 313 want to talk, but let me say this. Just say you haven't grown to that level to be able to forgive on that level.
I say that. Because I say that. Because I tried that and it was not good. Because it kept me in place.
To me, sister, forgiving is not so much for the person you're forgiving. Forgiving is more for you. Because that releases the control that person have on you. Because that person was going on living their life, and you sitting up holding a grudge and not forgiving. To me, forgiving is more for you rather than the person you're forgiving. Because it releases that control. It say, hey, I forgive you for what you've done to me, and I'm going to move on with my life. So it's not so much for that other person. It's for you.
Right.
I agree with that. Because when I forgave went on, then believe me, it was a big relief off my. But 313 want to talk. Your phone open, 313.
Yeah, my phone be out there with that thing. Look, first of all, what the other lady said, I don't know if she older or not. She just sounds older with the wisdom she gave. But first of all, this is not a testosterone thing or emotional thing. First of all, I know we all need to vent sometime, but let's keep it real. This is about the book. So when we say stuff like, how many times you forgive your neighbor, that has to be in context. Line upon line, precept. You know how.
Somebody's phone breaking up.
My phone breaking up. What about now? Straight?
Yeah, you straight.
Okay, so my thing is, even when we say, when we say about the baptism, we got to go to the book. This ain't about nobody's opinion. Nobody's opinion on this phone really give a squat to me. As far as us communicating as Israel, that's beautiful. But we got to go from the book. What the baptism, first we have to go about baptism. and when you come into knowledge. We can't just say, well, okay, the law. Whose law? The law of this nation? This law of this nation has nothing. I mean, the law of this nation does have a format. Because if I'm in the knowledge of Israel, and this is my wife under Israel, I came into her, and I came her as my wife, and we both agreed on our word and our bond under God. This is my wife to a certain extent, I believe, but I live in America. So now to go get married under her physically, I ain't trying to start no war. I'm keeping it real. Under America's law, not the color, but we just saying the nation. Now I go get married. This is my baby. I want to be with you forever, blah, blah, blah. I go marry her. Now, if you would, so when we go, well, what was we doing before that? I wasn't baptized, so I was blind. I couldn't see before I got baptized. But I'm not even going to talk on it. We need to open a book on it. I need to be quiet. You feel me? We need to open a book on baptism, and then when you come into the knowledge. Because the Lord, whether he's winking or saying you wasn't baptized, you was lost, you was messed up. Now you baptized. You married this man. Now, this man is baptized. You both baptized under this God, the true and living God. You both made decisions under this true and living God. Now you're married. We can't just say, okay, it means that, okay, you was married under the nation, but you wasn't married under the true living God of Israel, or I can't get back with you. We talk about the holy God, not our opinions.
Let's just say this then. I mean, we can open a book on it, but let's just say this, the reason to think about what we're saying and what we're talking about. And like you said, people's opinion don't matter. So let's base it up off scripture. Even if we have to go get the scripture to show that what we're talking about, we basing it off. Once you baptize into the new covenant, but yet it's still, the new covenant is just based upon new stewardship. Not under the Levitical priesthood no more, but up under the priesthood of Melchizedek. Now, you have old laws being put up under their blood. Now, one will have to deal with the fact that once you baptize and you come into the Messiah, Jesus, Yahshua, however one says that now you're saying that you're most definitely going to walk and keep the law. So if you go back and look at the law, you will have to either have to take that law of divorcement off the table, as well as the precept or the statute within it that you're not supposed to go back to your previous spouse. Because the law just clearly states that.
I feel you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Were you through? This is my time. Before you get the knowledge of baptism, you don't even know what the law is. All you know is this garbage. I'm not saying you don't have some knowledge, because obviously we have some knowledge to even come into the true knowledge. You understand what I'm saying? When I was in the Sunday church, I thought I knew something, but I did know a little bitty something. Now I know the true and living Christ, and I still just know a little something, but a little more than I used to, because I know about the truth now. But at the same time, when you go into baptism, it's about having the knowledge, accepting Christ. So before I got baptized, and I'm always talking about this, my wife, I don't know nothing. I'm baptized under a nation that don't even believe in the Most High. You understand what I'm saying? So if I meet this woman, I'm talking to this woman.
But do that disannul any vow you made before you was baptized?
Right. What good is it?
I asked the question, do that stop the fact that you made a vow before you making this vow with God now? But if the Most High is saying in the book that he forgive me for the knowledge, for the ignorance that I was living before I got baptized, now I got this beautiful queen that I messed up with. Now I go get baptized. I done put her away. I'm baptized. I don't touch her. Every time we're around each other, don't do nothing. She don't know nothing about the true and living Christ yet. Then I'm baptized. I know we done slept together. I'm still longing for her, but I'm trying to focus on God. Still have a desire for her, but I ain't trying to touch nobody. I'm trying to focus on God. Now, 8 years later, after me talking about her, about God, hypothetically, she finds out about the true and living Christ. She gets in the Word. She get baptized. I had put her away without no knowledge. I wasn't baptized. Didn't know about the living Christ, but now I do.
Now, I see this beautiful lady 8 years later, because she's beautiful, because now she has the knowledge of the Most High God, and she's baptized, forgiven for her past sins. The vows, we had a lot of vows before we got baptized, a whole bunch. Oh, I swear on forgive me, I don't even want to say it in jest. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. But
So
I'm feeling your whole conversation. I'm just asking the question to see exactly where you going with it, or we going with this conversation. Because, I mean, at the same time, that's all I'm saying. The law say this. Now,
I believe I done read that, what you're saying about the law, so I know it's there. I only have to open the book. Once put away. But you got to understand who was talking. This was, if you look at it, it's Jesus and Moses. You get what I'm saying? And at the time, you come into knowledge, they done took the covenant. You get what I'm saying? Right. You don't know nothing about the covenant. You just out here fooling with the nation, celebrating Christmas, Easter, got married, doing what you do. Just nasty. You don't know nothing. You just ignorant. Now you come into the truth. This lady done changed the way. Both of y'all brand new. And y'all bump into each other again. Both of y'all celibate. Brand new. Baptized under the Messiah. He who can cleanse you of your sins. And y'all was divorced under ignorance, even married under ignorance. It wasn't even, is it really a covenant? Because when you get, okay, this one, my one point, and I'm going to be quiet after this. This is what I'm saying. When you get baptized under Christ and you don't even know who Christ is, I mean, not baptized. When you get married under the Messiah that you don't even know Jesus in the book, there's some Jesuses out there. You ain't even baptized under the Yahshua, the true and living Christ. I say Jesus and Yahshua. But you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. You're not even baptized married. I'm sorry, I keep saying baptized. You're not even married under the real covenant. You're married under some nation garbage. So
I mean, like I said, I'm feeling what you're saying and the points that you're making, and they are valid and they will have to be dealt with. I ain't saying I'm capable of dealing with it now, because
I would have to look into that. That's a good.
I'm kind of laid back right now, so my mind ain't, it ain't really generate that much knowledge.
I'm just glad to be talking with some brothers. I feel you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something deep. Like I said, we need to have some time, like in the beginning of the class, going to the book on it. You know what I'm saying? But I just wanted to bring that up. You know what I'm saying?
Well made point. I mean, you see, I'm stuck. Like I said, all I can say is that's the law, and I understand.
I mean, we cool. We ain't got to talk about it. When we get time, it's a Sabbath, so tomorrow we all either going to be on class and studying tonight, hopefully, God be willing. And God be willing, tonight or tomorrow we'll be in class, and that's something we can check out. I mean, I need some inspiration, so right now y'all inspire me. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, somebody sound like they was trying to speak.
Brother, I'm just curious. Brother, you make about a point, but I'm really trying to see what your point is, because I hear people saying they're going to go check it out. To be honest with you, I don't know what to check out, because her question was, if your mate, if he cheated on you, and after you gotten baptized, or him or you, can y'all go back because your sin is forgiven through that baptism? That was her question.
Both of you were baptized. Both parties were baptized.
So your question, I'm trying to understand exactly what is your question?
I'm sorry. First of all, maybe I missed her question. What's her question? Because I heard her talk about it later. Okay, so what's the young lady's question?
Well, let's get her to speak on it. Anita, what you were saying? Anita.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, if somebody from your past, like, that you was married to, and y'all divorced or broke up, and you got baptized under Christ, and he wants to get back with you, is it lawful to do that?
That's what
can I ask this young lady something? Right. Can I ask this young lady something? What's your name, Anita?
Yes.
Okay, Anita, at this time, notice she said from her past. Her past. In your past, was you baptized under the Messiah's name?
No, because at that time we were still in the Israelite group, but we didn't believe in actually the dunking down of the water. We figured the word was washing us of that baptism, which is totally wrong.
So the answer is, now that you have more knowledge, the answer was, but that was deep the way you said it, because y'all was into it. Y'all just didn't believe it. So now that you go about knowledge and baptized, okay, and that person wasn't either. Now you're baptized under the wisdom. You baptized under the blood, and now you know better. You know what I'm saying? Before that, you wasn't. You get what I'm saying? And God knows we still be like children. I'm not saying what the answer is. I'm saying y'all was not baptized. Y'all might have knew something. We all knew something. I think some of us knew something even when we was in the Sunday church, because they brought us, or wherever we were. Some people weren't going nowhere. Some people was Catholic. Thought they was Catholic. Some people thought they was Baptist. But we learned enough to bring us to where we at. So I'm saying if you was not baptized, you was not brand new yet. If you wasn't under the knowledge and baptized and under the name of, whether you say Jesus or Yahshua, well, you was not brand new yet.
I think the sister trying to talk to you, brother.
Blue.
Yes, ma'am, Miss Anita.
Yes, I understand where you're coming from, Blue.
What you call it? What's your name? James B?
It's Jaheem Blue. Jaheem Blue.
Oh, Jaheem Blue. Okay.
Or you can say Yaheem, you know.
King Jaheem Brown. Blue for sure.
Oh, you know him?
Yeah, I refer to him.
What up? What up? All right, get at me, man.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, he's from Detroit Camp.
That's deep, because you know the law is spoken the way it's spoken because it is what it is, you know, and the only way you gonna get past that is to, see it being taken off the table in some shape, form, or fashion by some other. You know what I'm saying? Because
I just kind of figured, since you got baptized and Christ forgave you of your ignorance of certain things in your past, and you are like a fresh baby, you know, mentally and towards the Father, I figured if that person wanted to deal with you and come into knowledge of what they was neglecting and come under that true baptism, that y'all can be able to marry again.
Right, but this is what we got. This is what we got to deal with that. Once you get baptized, can you break the law of sin? Because sin is the transgression of the law. So if the law say you can't do something, and then you go and do it, that's transgression of the law.
But you got to keep the law in context.
But if it was somebody that was basically of the world, both of y'all two was of the world, and you came into Christ,
right?
And y'all,
but the law don't stipulate nothing. Give you no boundaries to go up and down in it. It just say don't do it. It don't give you no explanation.
You might not have known that law, but the thing of you may not have known that law when you were actually at work.
But is it safe to say, before you can even move forward with this conversation, you must determine, or you must acknowledge what broke you up? Now, if you were once married and fornication caused you to separate, and then you come into the knowledge and you get baptized, then no, you cannot return. According to the scripture, Matthew 5:36, you cannot.
But mine
now,
was,
if you guys were new, and like he was saying, he got a girlfriend, he loved his girl, and they both was ignorant, and then he put her away, not because of anything she did, but he put her away because maybe he was going into knowledge more than her. Then he gets baptized. Yes, he can return to her as long as there was no fornication involved.
I mean,
because you being baptized does not take away the law. The law did not change. You broke the law. The law did not break you. You broke the law. So the law is still what it is. Being baptized does not wipe away what thus said the Lord. That's why he said do it throughout all your generation.
But I was just doctrine, but it's like, me per se, I'm not trying to get back because he's engaged to somebody else, but it's like, it's, you know, knowing he don't understand, because he still is like ignorant of simple things just of the nations, because they think certain nations like the Indians and they think the Gentiles are Israelites in the Gentile state of mind. They don't even know the nationality, so they have no type of understanding and just basic stuff.
What then happened is we then took it into another personal realm instead of saying if this was a possibility and this happened, what would be the best way to deal with this based up off the scriptures and the situation that's put before us without any personal attachment. And that's when you keep hearing me saying like the law say you can't go back. It don't give you no it don't give you no leeway to go left or right, up, down, or no way. It just said if you was married and you got a divorce, you're not supposed to go back to the person you divorced.
Yeah. Carl, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is exactly right, and I think like the scenario that they're painting, I think that's only allowable or only foreseeable if you never come into the knowledge of where that's written. I mean, as long as you stay ignorant to what the law says, no, you're not supposed to do that, then you go back to them, not saying that it's allowable, but it's still in your ignorance. But once you come across that knowledge that it states that right there, and it's just like Carl says, like the law doesn't compromise itself. It doesn't bend one way to the left or to the right. It stays straight and narrow, and like you said, it doesn't stipulate. Like, I mean, that's just the fact of the matter, and that's all that you have to go off of.
Y'all keep stating the law. But if you don't know the law, when I was going to a Sunday church and I was praising Jesus, was I praising the Jesus that was the Jesus of the law, that was the word? No, I wasn't.
No, brother, I understand the part that I understand the point you're making, and I mean I question that same thing. But this is what I've understood is once you come into the knowledge that you was in ignorance and y'all knew each other in ignorance and y'all dealt with one another in ignorance and y'all came to a bond in ignorance. In y'all's ignorance, y'all separated. Y'all didn't know to be patient with one another. She didn't know to be patient with you. You didn't know to be patient with her outside of her ignorance. And y'all separated and split. But now that you with this knowledge, there's no way that you can go back.
Well, let's
look,
that you did in your ignorance.
Look, I hear you.
Hold up, give me a sec.
Give
me one sec. Give me 1 sec with the conversation because it was something stated and it was real significant to the conversation.
Okay,
you cannot be charged. You cannot be charged doing your ignorance for something you do.
That's my point.
So when James made the statement that if you go back before you get the knowledge that you're not supposed to go back, then that's a whole nother scenario. But once you get the knowledge, you got to do the knowledge. And the knowledge of that law says
you got the knowledge about the true Christ, not that fake Christ that y'all got. Y'all got married under a fake Christ.
But it ain't got nothing to do with that. Because the fact is, the law is the law. Just because you get baptized and you know the truth now, the law says you ain't supposed to eat nothing unclean. That don't mean you can go and eat something unclean now because you know this and that. Because the law's still there and saying you're not supposed to do that. What if you didn't know it at first?
If you was eating that pork, before you knew the law, didn't he forgive you for it?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you
now what about after you find out? Now what about after you find out?
Okay, but
that's when going back isn't allowable.
You're not eating the pork no more. You already stayed away from the pork. But that's what I'm saying. You're married under a fake Jesus. It don't even, like, how do that even count? You don't even know about the wisdom of the true and mighty God.
It counts because you make a vow, and it don't matter what arena. It don't matter what arena you make your vow in. If you make a vow, you a vow. If you vow yourself to servitude to somebody for 10 years, just because you get baptized, don't mean your vow servitude.
Get disallowed. Like Jacob and them. They had wisdom though.
So basically, what you're saying, Paul, so basically, what you're saying is, if you guys got together, got married before you dealt with Christ, y'all got a divorce, and then y'all got married again, and then you came in Christ, it's okay because y'all was both in ignorance when y'all found out about it, when y'all realized whatever.
I'm not saying it's okay. I'm saying he might forgive you or not look on you the same way because you was doing it in ignorance. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The problem is once I stated that law is out there on the table, now one knows that law out there on the table. Now, either you acknowledge that law and keep it, or you disacknowledge that law and break it.
Right.
Yeah, and just because a law wasn't made in truth and in honor of the true Creator, that doesn't mean that it wasn't before God at all. I mean, all things that's done and said and thought is before God. It's just like when you read in Daniel and you read about those kings that made agreement with one another, and they made vows and pacts with one another. They was doing that in conspiracy and in true wickedness in their heart. But yet and still, the Creator saw it all, and He knew the promises and the covenants they kept. Men make covenants all the time. I mean, those are about God. So, I mean...
Well, let's go even back to the Old Testament when He said, don't make a covenant with the people of that land, and they dressed up as another people, came back, lied to them, and they made the covenant. The Lord said, you still can't disannul that covenant.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, both examples are in the Old Testament. But, I mean, it's possible to make a covenant outside the knowledge of God.
I think the brother want to speak again.
Who is this brother Smith? Give me that one again. Before I can look it up.
Huh?
No, I was telling, what's his name, Carl Smith or?
Carl Lambert.
Hi.
Carl Lambert. Man, I'm in the dark. I'm in the dark. I can't even. Let me see if I can pull it up on the computer.
I mean, I might be able to look it up in my concordance on my computer or something. Just give me some key words. I'll find it.
I'm looking
up. What's that he looking for?
When it said don't make a covenant with
that last one, he was just quoting or paraphrasing.
I think it was,
don't make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land?
Yeah.
No, you can read that in Numbers. You can read that in Deuteronomy. You can read that in Joshua.
Right.
Open
Joshua the one that did it.
Yeah, but he needs somewhat of a nice navigational point where he can, like, what book and chapter.
Yeah, that's the one I feel. I didn't hear exactly what he said. Don't get it twisted, y'all. Don't get all cocky. I mean,
ain't nobody doing that, brother.
No, but I'm saying even when you inhabitants of the land, we not from here. So, like you said, I understand when you talked about the kings, like that was deeper. I get what you're saying. The kings was on some wickedness too, but the Lord still heard what they said, and so I assume, I don't like to assume that much, but that He held them accountable to their little covenant, huh?
Right.
Okay, and they was on some wicked too. So I get what y'all saying. Like even in ignorance, you making a covenant with one another to be with each other. Even though it's in Jesus' name and it's not the real Jesus, but you're making a covenant.
I mean, yeah, covenant is just another word for promise. I mean, a promise is a promise, whether you're doing it in the Most High, or you're just doing it vainly, or whether you're just doing it. A covenant or a promise is a promise. If I tell you, listen, I'm going to buy you a mockingbird. I just gave you a promise.
I think the promise was more deeper than the
Well, it's all equivalent. It's all equivalent. I mean, it can be
right.
But at the end of the day, I mean, if you're on Facebook or even Anita, I can look them scriptures up and I can get them to you a little later. Like I said, I'm in the dark right now. I'm laid back, man.
Right. I'm trying to pull up one of them now, but I'm on. I got an administrator. I got to guess another administrator. But I hit that blue letter Bible, put a couple of words in it, it would have popped up.
I understand it. So, regardless of if you was in the knowledge or not in the knowledge, you can't take them back once you understand that scripture, because it's still scripture.
Right. It'll be breaking the law.
Right.
And what's the grounds of divorce again? Fornication and adultery?
Adultery is what you got to fornicate to commit adultery, so adultery.
But the law says even like in that, like adultery, to where you supposed to put both of them away, to where you can't like go back and deal with them. To forgive that thing to deal with them still, because both parties supposed to be put away. Really put to death, but put away the man and a woman. So how can you forget that and keep dealing with them if that's the law?
I mean, you just have to learn forgiveness. If you don't learn forgiveness, you will never be able to forgive. And if you can't forgive, He's not going to forgive you.
Right.
So
that don't mean that you need to stay with him because, you know what I'm saying, you forgave
as they
him.
say, forgive but don't forget.
Have y'all read? Have you read Hosea, the book of Hosea? Did you read how God compared His people to not only just an adulterous woman and went and had adultery, but a prostitute? Like she went out and dealt with multiple partners, not just a one-time ordeal. Yeah, exactly. But the Most High heart and His spirit and the love and forgiveness that He had was to still accept it, what Carl's speaking on, no matter what extent she went to as far as being unfaithful. It still was to entreat her with the same love that he had for her in the beginning. And a lot of us, we got to learn that type of spirit. It's just like the one sister said on 70 times 70, or like Carl said, it's infinite. I mean, if you have that spirit in you, because it's hard to turn the other cheek to certain things. I could deal with our flesh. Right. I mean, that's to each individual.
Somebody constantly cheating on me. I don't know if I can do it. I mean, once I can kind of understand because I kind of reflect back to myself. I'm like, what was I doing to where I wasn't, A, B, and C? But it's like for you to keep.
And that's what we have to do. Just look at ourselves in our own walk and look at like people as a whole. Like who got it right? Who learned this stuff or learned anything and just got it right? But how often and how much do God forgive us?
Right, but let's make sure we hold up. Let's make sure we hear what's going on. The thing is, you saying you can't forgive them and take them back into your life to have a relationship with them like that again. That's why the bill of divorcement now. You ain't got to stay in the marriage. If they cheated on you, you can say we have to separate now. So you can still forgive them and separate. But if you saying I can't forgive them and I can't keep them, then we talking about something else. So let's make sure we're acknowledging all that we saying.
Okay, right. That's the difference. Those two different things. That makes sense. Right.
No, I mean, yeah, of course, forgive him, but then to have it to where you go back to him and allow and have him to where he's steady cheating on you, no, because that'll question yourself.
But that's why he told you if it's fornication of adultery, you can get out of it. So you ain't got to sit up there and look upside a person's head like I'm watching you having sex with another person every time I look at you now. The Lord gave you that out.
Right.
You have an option. Personally, nah, because I'm like this. I'm going to speak for myself. I ain't trying to cheat. I'm a man. I fight lust, but I ain't trying to cheat. So I'm like, don't cheat on me, period. Whether you know the law or not, don't cheat on me. And, yeah, I probably could for the one time. It would take a lot. I take a whole bunch of lot and building up. But if I'm out here not cheating and I'm a man, don't be cheating on me, period. I ain't saying it's more easier for a man or woman. I'm not going there. Don't cheat on me because I'm not going to cheat on you. I don't care what we go through.
That's the agreement right there between both adults, mature adults. That's the agreement right there.
But the point is, I can't forgive you enough to keep this relationship going. That's what.
Yeah, I understand. Forgiveness.
You forgive them, and then you basically, not to, because yes, you're supposed to forgive them, but to keep dealing with them.
Right, but the point is, some people can do that, and that's we've been on this a long time, and that's what I'm saying is, some people can do that. If you can't do that, you get a divorce and you move on. And if you get a divorce and move on, don't, excuse my French, take your tail back to the other person, because the law says you can't do that.
Now, what happens to a person saying that they're not doing that, but you have like evidence due to their actions? There is a possibility that they are.
You got evidence. If you want to be legal about something, you don't have evidence till you have evidence. So that's the same thing. That's why it's good to if you separate from a person, give ample, however you say, give good enough time that they go and marry somebody or they go and do that, then you know for sure to a certain extent, because you still can say if they didn't slept with each other, you could assume, but then.
But if you're talking about first party, remember, they still first thing we got to remember, like you say, you have free choice to forgive and put them away, or you have a choice to forgive and stay with that person. It's still your choice.
Right.
And think about the children. This one thing. Forgive me, y'all. This one thing. We have children. If a party say, well, dang, my wife cheated on me. We was going through some rough times. We was arguing this and that. I'm still in love with her. I want to stay with her, but I just can't deal with this. We go to counseling and all that. We got children together. Now, if I leave her and she go out there and deal with some other guy, got babies by somebody else, this is the turmoil. So I can understand that state of mind. Look, let me forgive my baby. I ain't saying I forgot it, but now let's grow to try to forget it so we can move on with our life. We got children together. I mean, because people out there like that. Now, she leave me, she gonna got other kids. We got this whole crazy thing going on, and this was going on with our nation now. I mean, our nation of people now. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Right. So I can do, even though I can't see me doing it quickly, I can understand the forgiving and try to let it go and try to build from there. One time, I ain't talking about no 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, hell.
Yeah, we understand, brother. You can't be a perpetual adulteress.
Right.
Making a habitual habit of it.
Trying to keep yourself cool and you ain't doing nothing wrong. Brother, you know, we get hit on too. You know, we get women throwing it at us every now and then. I mean, different brothers, different. But when you sitting up there, I mean, well, you know, I ain't going to go into it, but the other day I was tested. Right now I'm trying to chill. I don't even want to say the word. I feel silly. But it's been working out for me for some months. It ain't been no years or nothing. You get what I'm saying? So if I'm finna sit here and go through this, one of my major weaknesses, boo, I need you to be strong and be a help me. So I don't need you out there putting some other man and I hook up with an ego and testosterone. Don't know how that man may be laying. Even if you walk away from him and say, baby, give me a chance. Brothers out here on that crazy tip. We remember we living in a time that's close to the end times. That same brother might try to come and hurt our family more later after you don't walk away from him. So we got to think about that before we even make these consequences. Ooh, it just kind of happened. It ain't nothing just kind of happened. We made a choice to pull our
Yep, that's all I was trying to say that earlier. I was trying to say that earlier.
And don't get me wrong, because, I mean, I ain't got to go into it. There's so many beautiful women on the outside upon this earth. But if I make a vow, whether she's skinny, get fat, have a couple of babies, whatever, we're going to have to try to work it out because I'm scared of the Most High. I might mess up. I ain't even saying, like the brother was saying, I ain't even close to perfect. That's how I'm going to say it. But I'm going to try. So I'm scared of the Most High. So if my baby said we're going to work it out, look, I'm going to try, baby. That don't mean, oh, she went and got some, so I'm going to go get some. That's how a lot of us think. No, I'm going to try to read this word. I need to open this book. If I can't even open it, I need to call some of my sisters and brothers saying, look, help me build my faith back up. I ain't got to tell them what my wife did, my part of me done. But I can call them to get motivation to get back in my word so God's word can bring me joy. I do that now when I'm down, even just in a different situation. And I have went through one of the situations we were talking about.
Amen.
But I'm going to leave it at that.
Amen. Somebody get that boy a cyber hug.
There you go.
I told my friend I wasn't even going to talk, but I feel y'all. I mean, I said I'm going through some of the right time. And I need to hear my brothers and sisters, like the brother said, you know, he's been through some things, even when he was worldly. This stuff, that don't mean it don't hurt sometimes then. We got to keep going on, and we need each other to keep going on. You know what I'm saying?
That's why we open up the forum. That's why we open up the forum. That's why we open up the forum. I mean, that's why we open up the mics. It's like, this is something we don't talk about with each other, and this something, you know, if we can just share a little part of our experience as well as knowledge on what we're talking about, I mean, a gang of people might, you know, benefit. So, hopefully it's beneficial what we done did, and it's not in vain. Right. If we help one person with our conversation, we done did our job.
Right.
And you trying to hit every avenue instead of just hitting one avenue. I try and just throw out so much, like, with bringing out, because a lot of people experience certain things that we just be one target, just one-minded with. So it's, you know.
But just correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, correct me. I ain't beyond correction. You go to an internal frame of reference even within conversations more than others, I try to go from an external, and most definitely don't want to go internal from past relationship. But it seems like yours a little more internal. Am I wrong?
Yes, because I have learned no, you're absolutely right, because I have learned something from it. And it's a thing, I don't care. Like, what I've been through is what I've been through. That's my past. And I learned so much. And a lot of people go through the very same things. And it's like, if I went through it and I'm strong enough to fight those, fight my past off, that's good. I don't really care, because all of us go through the very same things. All of us.
Right. I agree with it.
I have no problem with it.
Does the internal mean more serious than the external?
Because can't nobody judge me.
More connected, personal.
Yeah, more connected and more personal, but it also make one somewhat, because, I mean, I do it a little bit. I ain't did it that much, but I'm going to be honest about it. It make one question if one is holding on to the past or holding on to some things and haven't released them yet. That's where, even when we went to the forgiveness conversation, it's like, well, the thing is, it's like you forgive them and you leave that relationship on and you move on. But it seemed like the conversation one, I forgive them and I move on, is more like, I can't forgive them and I can't still be in a relationship with them.
No, because actually on my past, I forgave my past. But now I'm in a state of actually forgiving myself for certain situations that I put myself in. My past is what it is. And if people can actually learn from my past, because when you deal with people, they relate more with you and you can feel them more when you actually bringing forth realness to them. Real life
right, and I understand that, but what I'm saying is we got stuck at a certain point because it wasn't stated or just dealt with easily as I can't forgive them and stay with them. I would have to forgive them and get a divorce and move on. And we could have been past that conversation, which is nothing wrong that we stayed there, but I'm saying that happened due to the fact that you internalized it and was dealing with certain internal things as well as emotions to it,
Hey, I'm going to jump in there if she don't cut me off, but since I know her, I do believe she like that, but I think she do that more for a fact. This is just my opinion. She might fuss me out later. But because I know her and she done, even though she a female, and females I think most of the time are more emotional, she been there for me when I opened up to her about such things. So I know she is like real forgiving of her past, but like she said, I think it's more or less her forgiving herself and getting a better understanding. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I think then that's the next portion of the conversation we need to talk about, because I just somewhat talked to her a little bit too, and I kind of know some, But the thing is, I just stated that I think even on the show the other day we was talking, you have to learn to forgive yourself, and you have to leave the past in the past and just go on, because.
Well, it's good you've been dealing with her, because I have real problems with her. I think she do good compared to me. I ain't gonna lie, I be wanting to hurt somebody.
Yeah, I mean, like we was talking when I went to...
Can I say something?
Yes.
Can I say something, please? It's good and nice and easy for somebody to say, to another person that the past is the past, and you can just leave the past and go on. But that person that's dealing with the past had to go through the walkthrough and learn how to let go of the past.
Amen.
True.
Amen.
True. And that's why I said having this conversation, I'm doing it because, I know James know the story real good. And some more people on the line may have heard the story just like I've been putting it out here. But during the time I was going through my situation, I was sitting outside people's doors. I would wake up and think I'd killed them because I was just that mad and angry and stuff. And I really wanted to hurt some people. So at the same time, what I was going through was like somebody killing my child, this and that. So I had high emotions, I would even go as far as to say my mother just passed, but what I was going through then affected me even more than my mother just passed. So that's how strong it was for me. But forgiveness and the fact that it's like, you know, you have to purge yourself of all them emotions and all those things, and you also, that's why I was saying when y'all said, you know, people lied or whatever, you have to take responsibility for your actions in it. You have to say, I done learned so much from this, and I done grew so much from this, because it could truly be a chastening, because you find yourself weak in different areas because you done did something over here, you ain't got your mind and your heart right. So some things you go through, especially if you participate in it, turns out to be a chastening for something else you don't know. So,
well, can I
agree with that.
Since I'm the one that said it was a lie, I have to defend myself and plus express myself as well too. Like I said before, I had just got out of a situation where it was life-threatening. Now, when I had talked to this person, they knew that I was trying to get more into God, get closer to God, and I accept the fact of a biblical marriage, meaning that He will be the head, you know, and lead me towards a better. Like if I have any questions that I need answered, that my husband will be there to be a provider plus also a teacher too. Now, if I'm giving him, if we made this commitment and we put everything out on the table, as you said, we put everything out on the table, discussed that, and we made that commitment, then why then 4 months later things had changed? And I'm asking and begging for something that should rightfully be mine. That we are both each other's. And so there's a decision that had to be made personally for me. Well, this person lied. If he was holding something that knew that would be a life-threatening and spiritual situation for me, then he lied. If he kept that to himself or was playing these little mat games that some guys and some girls play, that put me in a life and death situation.
Yeah.
So what do I do? What do I do? Do I hold on to his words, that he loves me, that we are married, or do I go by the action and knowing that I'm putting my life in danger and leave that marriage or whatever it was?
That's the fruit. That's the fruit.
Right, but I mean, what you said is most definitely you understand the situation. So in understanding that situation and the way you do, I mean, you might have to separate if it's no fornication or adultery, because I know you asked that question a couple times because you want to make sure.
He could be lying and say he did not commit fornication or adultery.
But it's the same thing we were talking about Beyonce and Jay-Z. If you don't know, if you went there and watched Jay-Z go up in her, you can't say he went up in her. Same way with your husband or any person, unless you can have evidence. That's why I said you might have to separate for a time to see if there can be a reconciliation of the situation.
It shouldn't even be a problem.
It shouldn't be, but it's a lot of stuff in this world that shouldn't be. They shouldn't have ate from the tree. But
we already passed that. We already know they're guilty for that. But if you come into the knowledge of God, or who God is supposed to be in your life, you should be living to God's standards and will that He has for His children.
But just because something shouldn't be, once it is, you have to deal with it, and you have to deal with it in a healthy way, in a conducive way.
I choose not to dwell with that.
In a way that's conducive to the life that you're trying to live, God in God.
Then I choose not to dwell with that. I choose not to dwell with that.
Just pray to God and be patient. He'll give you your answer. And in time, it'll be what it is.
I choose life instead of choosing death.
And remember, you were still dealing with man. You were still dealing with man. So even though somebody be in the Word, just like when the Messiah went to the man with the demons in him, and he was like, you know, they told him, they knew who Jesus was. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So just because a man just like, I got knowledge, I'm walking in the Word. That don't mean he's truly walking in the Word. Just because he can quote.
That was my lesson that I had to learn.
I'm going to try that fruit. If it's my pastor say something, I might be, hallelujah, yeah, I love it. But when I think about it, let me look this up. because my pastor is still a man. I pray, and like I say, that God is walking in him and teaching the shepherd, but he's still a man. He make mistakes. And then you got people out there, they trying to walk in sheep's clothing, and they really want to do good, but they might not be meant to do good.
Hold up, let me say this. If the sister want to ask a question, we have 3 minutes and 45 seconds. So after that conversation over with, go ahead, sister.
I just want to know the sister that was talking, that was sharing her past experience. How long ago was this?
This was a year ago. Well, 13 months ago.
Okay.
But in March, last year March, we had quote unquote supposed to be married.
Oh, it's still.
And I haven't seen him since September.
Okay, but it's still kind of fresh. Okay.
Right. It still hurt.
Like you said, one common thing that we all got here, we'd have been hurt at some time, and I think that's common with every man, woman, and child in the world, unless they just, like that brother said, kissed their sister on the cheek and been with her ever since, and I bet you it's been rocky a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
If it don't kill you, make you stronger.
I know I'm strong.
Right. Hey, brother, before we go, I like what you said. I'm not on that level right now where you said, like, about the full forgiveness and what you was going through, and even, like, it was worse than, like, you know, I think you said after your mother passed. But I'm not going to lie. The best thing is honesty. A lot of people don't want to open up, so it's hard to even talk to some brothers in the church. I'm going to open up because I want it out of my heart, out of my mind, and dealt with. But I like the way you said that. I'm not finna lie and say I'm on that level on the Sabbath. I'm not on that level yet, though. You get what I'm saying? But I'm trying to get there.
Man, you have to work to get there. Believe me, it was about a 5-year work in progress. Because I was even mad at God. I'm like, how did I end up in this situation? How did a baby come about and all this stuff? And I mean, I let my guard down, and believe me, my block got knocked off. And it wasn't no pretty thing. A lot of death could have came of it, you know. And I just thank the Lord that it did. And,
no doubt,
and to be able to say, man, I'm stronger, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And think about the same things I used to think, look at guys like, he weak, he soft. And there's some of them same things, whether it was in the word or not, but kind things, I'm not going to say good things, because only God is good, that I know of, but kind things brother was doing was not soft. It was of kindness.
But I say I'm stronger
due to the fact.
Yeah, I say I'm stronger due to the fact that it took everything into me not to hurt nobody, not to hurt myself, not to do, you know what I'm saying? It take more strength to do that than to actually do what you did. Because even if you do it, people will look at you in your life and be like, well, he went out like Willie Lump. He was just a fool. He got pussy whipped, and then he got crazy, killed himself, killed some people. And there's a lot of people do that because they not strong enough to handle it. Yeah, there's a lot of people do that because they not strong enough to make it through it. So we got 45 seconds. With that said, enjoy y'all Sabbath, man. I love the conversation. And tomorrow we talking about the past, so we talking about relationships. So.
Happy Sabbath, brother.
Happy Sabbath, everybody.
Happy Sabbath.
Shabbat shalom. Peace in your Sabbath, man.
Happy Sabbath.
All right. Peace.